Zuzu, Malawi.
Thanks for watching VOA's Red Carpet. I'm your host, Sunday Shomari. For more information on entertainment news, visit www.voaafrica.com or find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, goodbye, everyone. Hello and welcome to VOA's Red Carpet. I'm Sunday Shomari in for Jackson Mvunganyi. This week on the Red Carpet, we have a chat with Fikash Yeshewas, a rising star in the Ethiopian music with her angelic voice and uplifting message in her songs. A new film explores the fight for the survival of the forest in Cameroon. In Nairobi, a new restaurant is using robots to serve dinners. The annual Basketball Festival 2024 will be held from October 24th to 27th at the University of Ghana in Accra. This year's festival opens with sports, fashion, and an entertainment summit. Organizers of the annual Africa Basketball Festival, ABF, recently launched the festival to celebrate African basketball and fashion in the United States at an event in Laurel in the state of Maryland. One of the speakers at the launch was former NBA player and basketball executive Nana Papayao Mensah-Bonsu, who spoke to Red Carpet about the potential and future of basketball in Africa.
I'm Pops Mensah-Bonsu here at the Africa Basketball Festival, celebrating the game, celebrate Africa, fashion, culture, and loving what they do by using the game of basketball to reach the youth. And you see the transcending abilities of the sport and how it can influence the younger generation. So always going to support with that said. And somebody like myself who has an academy too that wants to use the game of basketball to help influence the younger people of Ghana is beautiful to see. So I'm just glad to be a part of it and looking forward to what the future holds.
Yeah. So Africa is the youngest continent in the world, has the youngest population. What kind of potential do you see the game of basketball having on the continent?
I see infinite and endless potential. There's a reason why the BAL is in Africa now. There's a reason why the NBA and FIBA invested in the game. There's a reason why there's academies there. There's a lot of outside investment coming into Ghana now, or into Africa, I should say, because they see the talent. They see the pool. Obviously, like you said, Africa is going to be the youngest and largest population in the world in the next 10 to 15 years. So with that said, we have to make sure we equip this younger generation with the necessary tools to be successful.
Social issues while also celebrating themes of love, self-discovery, and mutual respect. During a recent visit to VOA Studios, Yeshewas performed her music and sat down for an interview with our colleague, Hatam Seyum.
Salam. Fikr Balala. My name is Fikr Yeshewas. I am a singer, songwriter, and a designer. Hey. Salani lingarer, ownat maninatin, fensum nanyalalo, alamnam sitatin. I've always been singing ever since I was a kid. Just kind of grew up with me. I used to play a few instruments when I was a little kid and participate in the media programs and events while I was in elementary school. So I kept up with it up to a certain point, and then
I had stopped it for a little bit while I was doing my studies, and then once I finished, I sort of went back to it. I believe that music is a universal language, and I believe that it's a great tool to bring people together from all over the world. So I try to focus my music on peace and love and unity for the most part, and also just to talk about certain issues that are stigmatized and discriminated against by at least our culture and our society, and kind of bring that to light. I wanted to do something or release a song that was different and wasn't super mainstream, but still important to discuss. So my friend and I, when we were going over the topics of what to sing about or what to do for our first song, we decided that it would be about mental health. So that's kind of how it started, and I think it's a great topic to be discussed amongst people in the society, especially not just in our country, but in the African culture. I think it's something not talked about enough. I believe we have a lot to share when it comes to music and entertainment and culture with the rest of the world. So my goal is really to bridge the gap between our culture and our music with the Western world.
In the forests of Cameroon, a new battle is being waged not just for the survival of the trees, but for the preservation of cultural heritage and traditional medicine. The new film, A Cry from the Forest, produced by Cameroonian actress and filmmaker Laura Onyama, explores the devastating effects of deforestation in West Africa. VOA's Kali Abdu brings us the story of art intersecting with environmental advocacy.
As deforestation continues to threaten biodiversity across Africa, creative voices are rising to bring attention to the issue. In Cameroon, a new film titled A Cry from the Forest is doing just that. The movie, produced by Laura Onyama, highlights the struggle between traditional medicine and the encroaching modern world, all set against the backdrop of forest degradation.
Yeah, I'm a producer, actress, and I own a production company called Ola Productions. We just did our first movie, A Cry from the Forest, which was sponsored by WWF and AFD France. And this movie talks about forest conversion and the relationship between scientific medicine and traditional medicine from the perspective of the indigenous man.
For Onyama, this project was not without challenges. Being a first-time producer, she faced the hurdles of the film industry, but was buoyed by the support of her team and the local communities where they filmed. The story is deeply personal, reflecting the struggles of Cameroon's English-speaking minority in making their voices heard on both the national and international stages. The film's environmental message is echoed by experts worldwide who emphasize the critical state of our planet's biodiversity.
We are in the midst of a biodiversity crisis, a climate change crisis, and a pandemic crisis.
The issue of deforestation in Cameroon is not just a local problem, it is a global one. With forests being cut down at alarming rates, the loss of biodiversity is a significant concern. Experts argue that the future of our planet hangs in the balance.
Are we going to trash it? Are we going to destroy it? Or are we going to wake up and realize that the future of our planet is up to us, and we better take care of both its climate and its biodiversity?
In 2017, as deforestation accelerated, some communities in Cameroon began adopting alternative fuel sources to protect their forests. Residents in Mbile village, for example, started using clay stoves and briquettes made from sawdust, significantly reducing their reliance on firewood. This initiative helped save approximately 16 tons of dry wood per day, providing a model for sustainable living that could be replicated across the region.
Okay, personally, my production company is focused on making films on nature, environment, and wildlife. So trust me, when you hear of Ola Productions, expect such beautiful stories, documentaries, fiction films, and all of that. So that's what you should expect from Ola Production.
A new restaurant in Kenya is generating business and buzz, not just because of the food, but because of the staff. Robots serving dishes is the main attraction of diners who flock to the Robot Cafe. Yo Majanga reports from Nairobi, Kenya.
Welcome. It's lunchtime at the Robot Cafe in Nairobi's Kileleshwa suburb, and an unusual waitress is causing excitement.
Thank you, Nadia.
Nadia is one of 3 robot waitresses incorporated here to improve service delivery. This is a first in East Africa.
You assign them duties in the morning like normal waiters. You tell them which tables one particular robot is supposed to go or what is expected to do there. Because for instance, they do more than just survey. They sing happy birthday. For instance, let's say you do a reservation and you have a birthday. It's going to deliver you your cake with the message and everything, and also sing happy birthday with you with a background of waitresses.
Use of robotic technology in the food service industry is not new. Restaurants with robot waiters have opened in the United States, China, and other places. But the concept is new to Africa. Since opening in Nairobi 2 months ago, Robot Cafe staffers say the reception has been good, with the robots being the attraction for customers like Brooke Abito, who is here today with his family for lunch.
I was happy to show my kids this, in Africa, in your own backyard. So yeah, it was very good. You can see that the technology needs a bit of development, but it's really nice how the robots take the food, they come and serve you. And when I come back next time, I want to see the robots more interactive, taking your orders, bringing your food. But it's a very good first step.
According to government data, the hospitality industry is one of the big sources of employment in Kenya. The introduction of robots in the sector brings fears of people being driven out of work by machines. However, industry experts like Edith Ojuang say there is no cause for alarm, as the technology will just serve as a tool to improve efficiency and quality of service delivery.
I really don't think it can face off the entire human labor, but it will be incorporated still, just like we have incorporated the other technology, and we've used it to improve our human labor and worked together.
Ojuang's advice is for Kenyan schools to incorporate technology training into their hospitality curriculum in readiness for the shift.
If we keep training people the traditional way, and by the time they're released in the industry, technology has already gone a notch higher. It becomes scary for them already, and it becomes difficult to be able to adopt.
Experts say the era of automated restaurants has finally begun in Africa, and diners should expect more integration of robots in their dining experiences.
Thanks for watching VOA's Red Carpet. I'm your host for today, Sunday Shomari. For more on your entertainment news, please check us out on www.voaafrica.com or on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.
The silent motoring and energy transition revolution that the Nigerian middle class is yet to plug into. I am Bola Oba, and this is Plus Politics. The profound improvements in EVs, that is electric vehicles, with longer-lasting batteries that can now go up to 600 kilometers per charge, the little or no environmental pollution that the ICE, that is internal combustion engines, in conventional vehicles emit, which has made governments in environmentally responsible societies to set dates for the elimination of ICE vehicles on their roads. The increased productivity that EVs, which are smart objects like your smartphones and can be leveraged as Internet of Things tools by owners to galvanize increased productivity even while they are on the road. Far more importantly, the dramatically falling price of EVs, the average price of EVs sold by BYD, the world's largest EVs manufacturer, in China last year was $12,000. Indeed, there are Nigerian manufacturers that are now advertising tear rubber, quote unquote, that's the newly assembled EV, SUVs, and ILOS type trucks for half of the prices of, say, Japanese or American equivalents. The unfolding EV good news for the Nigerian motoring public does not stop at the competitive pricing level. The Rural Electrification Agency, REA, and the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, have signed the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, for the establishment of a $150 million lithium-ion battery, the chief component of EVs, manufacturing and processing factory already reportedly putting up its plant in Nasarawa State. Exchange generation advantages. Joining us virtually to probe into the question is the Director General of National Automotive Design and Development Council, NADDC, Mr. Oluwemimo Joseph Osanipin, and literally live in the studio with me is the President CEO of Saglef Incorporated, a U.S. electric vehicle manufacturing company with a new assembly plant in Imota, Ikorodu division of Lagos State, Dr. Olugbenga Sam Fale. Gentlemen, welcome to Plus Politics.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure. DG, good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
It's never too late to say congratulations. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
We wish you all the best in your tenure. We want to believe that you will leave a legacy that will be so profound that the world cannot discountenance. But how would you want to start? What would you want to tell us about electric vehicle technology and the position of NADDC?
Electric vehicle, that is one of the new energy vehicles that is available world over, and globally it's been embraced. Nigeria is not left out. Nigeria is gradually embracing it because that's the future of the mobility. Electric vehicle is the future of mobility, that's certain, and we are already embracing that because of many reasons. Number one, the climate effect of emission. An electric vehicle, especially when it's battery, is zero emission. So it is attractive for anyone and for Nigeria to embrace it. So, and apart from that, maintenance costs. You can see the parts, the engine parts that an IC vehicle will have, they are into thousands. But electric vehicle has only auto traction that power the vehicle. Then with the battery. So the number of parts you have to change at interval regularly are very, very limited. So you can drive the maintenance cost by almost 70% reduce it by 70%. So also the fueling part of it. The cost of fuel is going up. And with electric vehicle, when you compare the cost of charging, that is the cost of energy, and the cost of powering ICE through AGO or through PMS, you know that the cost compared to EV is so high. So EV also reduced that one dramatically. And that's enough advantage or enough benefits that will attract motorists to patronize or move to migrate from ICE to EV.
Thank you very much.
We're also embracing that.
I'll come back to you, DG. Doc,
yes.
You know, with you, maybe one way or the other, how did your love for electric vehicle, how did it start? Before we even get into what inspired you becoming an industrialist, setting up an electric vehicle assembly plant in Nigeria all the way from the US. Let's give it a human face first.
The short version. Honestly speaking, I was just one of those kids that could never make up their mind whether I wanted to be a doctor or an engineer, honestly. The last day of JAMB, my dad called me and said, you know you have to submit this form today, right? Pick one. So after listening to him, I said, okay, let me pick medicine. But it so happened that after I finished medical school, I went to the US and specialized in internal medicine, also specialized in clinical informatics, which is all the healthcare information technology, you know, in healthcare. And I've always been a big believer in the danger to our planet of climate change. So I've always understood the need for renewables. So me being partly also just an entrepreneurial, you know, guy, I felt that there are avenues in renewables for entrepreneurship. Just that was my segue into tech, and I just basically kept looking into this. I've been involved in the real estate business and other endeavors in the US, and I just felt, along with my partners in Saglev, who actually makes electric vehicles in the US, also a Nigerian like myself, we just got together and said, look, you can make an EV company, I will make an EV company. There's no point doing this separately, we'll do it together, and that's really how Saglev came about. But we thought that it was in the emerging markets where the opportunities are.
I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
Let me go back to the DG, and I'll come back to you on some very interesting. I really want to know how, you know, when we live in the diaspora, we have a very rustic, very backward perception of Nigeria, many of us, because we cross-feed ourselves some misinformation about Nigeria. I'm sitting there thinking, because I once lived in the diaspora, I'm thinking, okay, how did you then cross that Rubicon of believing that electric vehicle would ultimately be accepted in the Nigerian market? But let me go to the DG for the next step. DG, I just want to know, we know that Ria and Naseni at the last COP28 signed an MOU with a Chinese concern, an international manufacturer entity that is setting up plant now in Nasarawa State. And there is no way that lithium-ion battery could be made in Nigeria that some Nigerian entrepreneurs would not think, oh, about time to harness of electric the strategy. I think I have a confession to make here, you know. And the confession, Mr. DG, is that I was one of those, in my capacity as a director of a company that consults for the NADDC, I was one of those that wrote the curriculum for electric vehicles. So an average Nigerian watching now may not know that there is a detailed curriculum for electric vehicle, from how to transition the average roadside mechanic to working on electric vehicles to somebody who is doing a PhD program, say in a formal academic environment. So, but this is not about me. This is about you as the person that wears the authority of the NADDC, intimating the Nigerian public with the opportunity. So I'm sitting there wanting to ask you, how is the NADDC the opportunity of this domestication of one of the major components of electric vehicle manufacturing in Nigeria?
Thank you for the question. Number one, you will know that electric vehicle, the major components in electric vehicle is the battery. In fact, battery accounts for between 40 to 50% of the cost of an electric vehicle. So what that means is if Nigeria is investing in production of electric vehicle, in production of battery, it literally means that gradually we are investing in manufacturing of electric vehicle in Nigeria, because by producing the battery itself, we have contributed up to 40% of the component. That is contributed about 40% of the component. That means the component, the battery can give us 40% of the total cost of the vehicle, which is local components, increase in our local component. So that is very vital. Producing battery in Nigeria is vital. And again, apart from it increase our local content component, we can be able to drag down the cost of manufacturing a vehicle and an EV vehicle. And if you can do that, it means we can translate that one we can transfer that one to the buyer. That means the cost of acquiring an electric vehicle in Nigeria can also go down. We really appreciate that, and we hope this big investment can start yielding result by producing battery for Nigerians. One, what other thing we are trying to do, just as you mentioned, the curriculum developed, which we call National Occupational Standard. That standard is being critiqued and the validation has been done. By the time we are through with it, it's going to serve as the basis for training Nigerians, the artisans, and different level of training, either the artisan, the fresh graduate, and those people that already have the experience in EV, those people that want to manufacture EV, those people that want to work on EV. So we know that we get to a point where we need to bridge the gap in the knowledge. That is the people that will be working on the EV. And we need them to acquire the basic knowledge or have the basic expertise in handling that. That's why we came up with these people to adopt, help citizens to adopt EV usage faster.
Thank you very much, DG. Doc, before I went to DG, I made a remark that I would want you to respond to. You know, the misinformation in our diaspora, technology and social media is now helping to bridge the gap, but about the time that you must have started flirting with electric vehicle, social media was not big then. And for you to have thought that, okay, I want to go into this and I want to take it to Nigeria, you must be a very adventurous visionary.
Well, actually, I have to confess, you know, there's no point. I used to be the typical diaspora that is totally scared of Nigeria. I think counting, I think I've been in the United States now about 32 years or so, something like that. And out of that 32 years, if you add all the days I've spent in Nigeria, there's probably less than 8 weeks, even, well, maybe now 12 weeks total before I started this. So, but again, due to social media, due to just being inquisitive, I participated in trade missions from companies. You know, I just happen to have an interest in entrepreneurship generally. So I came to Nigeria, met with the U.S. consulate, U.S. ambassadors, all those people. They taught us a lot about Nigeria. At that point, I started realizing that, look, the story that you get and the story that is the truth, there's a gap. Yeah, I'm not, I'm just saying that there is a mismatch. But when things happen, it gets blown out of proportion. And yes, there are some problems and there are some concerns. The security issues are there. Corruption issue is there. But at the end of the day, look, I was educated here. And I tell people that at the end of the day, when I got to the United States, I had colleagues who were owing $300,000-$400,000.
From medical school?
From medical school. And my own debt was zero. So at the end of the day, as a diaspora person, you can think up, down, left, right, center. You still owe the country something. The country invested in you. Again, the joking part of it is that, look, you're going to eat burger to the point where you can't even stand it anymore. You are going to want swallow. You're going to want all these things.
The emotional persona in you would naturally, at some point, beckon you in the direction of home.
So, but things are changing. People are seeing. And, all my friends are shocked that I'm here. And as a matter of fact, I do live here for the most part. And I do go home maybe 2, 3. If you used to be one of the worst. So again.
I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you on how your flirtation, and now that has become a lifelong and I hope transgenerational love with EV started. I'll come back to you because I really want to give this a human context and also use the experiences of people like you to hold the Nigerian middle class. The Nigerian middle class is still reticent.
Definitely.
All those ifs and but you were at the very emergence of electric vehicle motoring. You had a kind of experience that an average Nigerian maybe. Let me go back to the DG. The NADDC, I must state, is one of the national treasures that I want to believe has been changed media-wise. I don't suppose many Nigerians even get to know the strategic importance of the NADDC in the quality of the motoring experience they get. Many Nigerians don't know. How do you intend to engage the Nigerian public and let them see, especially the Nigerian motoring public, and let them see the whole gamut of things you do to protect them by the quality and standard of the vehicles you allow to be imported into Nigeria and assembled in Nigeria, the quality and standard of the motoring experience they enjoy that many don't know, that even far beyond Standard Organization of Nigeria, the NADDC, is the first line of quality assurance when it comes to vehicular objects coming into this country. What are your strategies, Mr. DG?
Yes. Thank you for that question because it's something that we know we are addressing it because a lot of Nigerians are not even aware of the existence of the council, and a lot of Nigerians are not aware of what we are doing and what we have achieved. So it's part of what we are doing. We have started some campaign, and in the next few weeks, we notice that we start telling Nigerians what we have been doing, and what we have achieved. So especially in the area of CNG and EV, and generally what our mandates are and what we have achieved in the last few years. So just as you mentioned, apart from test and stand area, we've done a lot. And even apart from that, we are trying to work on ensuring that the material used for local parts or local components meet the standard before you now process the material to become parts. And for that also, we have started building. We have a material test center in Zaria, and we have component parts test center in Enugu that will soon be commissioned. Also, we have emissions test center in Lagos State University of Science and Technology, Ikorodu. With that one also will soon come to life. So all this we have been doing in order to ensure that the quality of the vehicle that are coming to Nigeria and the quality of vehicle that are on Nigerian road meet international standard. So also to protect, we are doing that also, especially the emissions center, to protect the environment. So all these we know they are not being known by Nigerians. But again, we are using social media now. We are using electronic media. And then the traditional newspaper, all this we are going to employ in educating Nigerians or bringing our services to the notice of Nigeria. So we will start that in the next few weeks, and Nigerians will know more about what we have done, what we are doing, and what we are about to do again.
I'll come back to you, Mr. DG, especially in the particular area of human capital development and the inherent opportunities that the council presents to the Nigerian youths, especially in the area of human capital development. I'll come back to you. Doc, we will go, we will soon get to the nitty-gritty of how SAGLEV came into being and why Imota Ikorodu, Nigeria. But I like to always give the human story element to serious, because people can identify in many respects with stories like that. So how did I used the word flirtation initially, but I know you are in love now with, how did it graduate from, okay.
So I want to crave your indulgence to tell you that without the NADDC, I don't want to forget to say this, without the NADDC, SAGLEV would not be here. I think it's important to say that so that people can hear that without the NADDC, SAGLEV would not be here.
So
because we did not even know.
In a way, to the NADDC is like also an investment.
1,000%.
Investment conduit.
Yes, because
foreign direct investment conduit to Nigeria.
Not directly the foreign direct, but you see, we have these ideas, and we're in the United States, and we do manufacture cars in the United States, by the way. We have these ideas of what we want to do, but we don't know how to do it. We don't know what the policy is. The NADDC is who has guided us step by step to where we are. They're the ones that have pointed out to us. Now, it's a very interesting story of how we got here. As you know, we started out in Ghana.
Yeah.
And the things that happened in Nigeria fuel-wise started. At that point, they literally called us up and said, look, guys, give the excuse again, because that excuse is not valid anymore. So I just wanted to bring that up real quick.
Very important point.
Yes, very important point to make sure you give.
But ultimately, the removal of subsidy.
Yes, did it. Yes.
And presents the business opportunity that speaks to the fact that now the alternative energy.
Yes, some of that, because you have to understand that while petrol was 50 naira a liter in Nigeria, it was over 850 naira a liter. Today, petrol is 1,340 naira a liter in Ghana. It's even more expensive in Abidjan. So it's not a matter of the business case. Even if petrol was $50 or 50 naira a liter, you would still have the benefits of using an EV.
Environmental.
And we can go into talking about all of environmental, the cost of
smart technology.
Yes, the ease of repair, the ease of maintenance, and the reduction in the total cost of ownership. You have all these benefits in the EV. But now going to your question, yes, The reason, you see, I can relate to how Nigerians feel now that, oh, there's no charging. You know, Nigeria has been a country that has suffered tremendously under the lack of power. We still are in this conundrum. So anytime you mention anything electric, the first thing in Nigerian is just natural. The human mind tells you, no, it's not possible. But however, every step that I've seen here, I went through it in the United States. To give you a story, very close friend of mine was the very first person that actually acquired a Tesla. My classmate, we've been classmates actually since primary school. So that's why I tell you
What year was that?
This was in 2012. The very number 27 Tesla that came off the lines, we drove that car. But I want to tell you this. When he picked up that car in Nebraska to get to Atlanta, okay, it took 4 days.
The two of you?
Well, I was smart enough to let him do that problem. You know, I escaped it because somehow, you know, he's an anesthesiologist, I'm an internist, so his time is more, so I escaped that. But I knew he was picking up the car, and we were all excited to see to test drive this thing. But incidentally, 4 days to move from Nebraska to Atlanta because you have to stop. There are chargers, but at that time, the charging system was very immature, even though there were Tesla superchargers. But to drive from Nebraska to Atlanta, the path. So I can relate because I lived it in the United States where there was, this is early 2012, where you have an EV, but you can't charge electric vehicle here a year and a half. Every day.
A fleet, actually.
Well, don't tell people I drive a fleet of EV. But
because I know you are a couple.
Yeah.
You've been to my office a couple of times.
Yes.
I have a confession to make. When it was about setting up Saglev factory in Imota, Ikorodu division, one of the companies where I'm a director actually selected young Nigerian technicians. We call them automotive mechatronics technicians. We trained fundamentally. They are still in training because, you know, they want to expose them to global standards. So they are still in training. But having said that, I think it's imperative journalistic ethics demand that I make that revelation. So
yes. So again, what happens is I can relate. But the good news is that in a very short time, this Tesla supercharger was all over to the point where you could easily drive that car pretty much nationwide on electric charge. Now, I actually right now hardly drive I don't. 80% of all the charging for electric vehicles will actually happen at home.
Repeat that.
80% of electric vehicle charging, period, in this country, in any country, is going to happen at home. It's like that in the US, it's like that. So there are other little areas where you have to make some adjustments.
Doc, you know the irony for me. I'm sitting here thinking, most of us, notwithstanding whatever may be our perception or the reality of public power utility, most of us don't sleep in the dark. We make arrangements.
Exactly.
And the same power with which we sleep can also
charge your car.
I'm not going to romanticize it. Charging equipment are still relatively expensive. We will get back to that. Let me go to DG.
DG, okay.
That is where we go in the direction
yes.
DG, thank you for still keeping this good time with us. Like I said, when I was going out the last time I was with you, I know that the council, that's the NADDC, has a robust human capital, or the HOBs, and holding them from ignorance to being able to work with modern vehicles that are largely computers on wheels. Don't even let's talk about EVs now. A modern automobile are computers on wheels. You have vehicles now averaging about 7 ECMs, electric control modules, some far more. We know that apart from training those artisanal mechanics, you have programs, undergraduates in universities. You are partnering with some tertiary institutions. That is actually why you have the emission facility in the Southwest in a tertiary institution in Lagos State. Lagos State University of Technology now, former Lagos State Polytechnic. How do you want to tell an average young person interested like he was in flirting with technology? What do you want to tell an average young person on how the NADDC can usher them into realizing their dream of being automotive mechatricians, or indeed somebody that works on or that can dabble into the world of EVs? Your floor.
Okay, let me start from known to unknown in for this particular question. When I say known, is from ICE. How did we manage, or how are we managing the ICE maintenance? Currently, we realize that even the ICE vehicle are changing. Some of the technicians, the ones we call mechanics, the technicians, some of them trained about 20, 15 years ago, and the technology has really changed. So what we have done is to organize training for the technicians across the country. And as of today, we have trained over 10,000 Nigerian youths. We have trained over 10,000 artisans. And in training them, we ensure that we move them from the type of vehicle they started with. We introduce the new vehicle, the new technology, and we let them keep abreast of the happenings and new technology that we have in auto now. So we've done the training across Nigeria. We have what we call sector skill council. So we have this sector skill, it consists of almost 17, 18 different agencies or people that have experience in different areas of auto, lecturers, people that are assemblers, artisans, all these people, we brought them together and they form what we call sector skill. And they develop a curriculum that we are using to train all the artisans. We train artisans that we call the roadside. We train fresh graduates in Midas so that they can design parts, they can design different things using Midas technology. So we've done all this for both skilled and unskilled artisan and skilled professionals in auto field. And that's what we intend to also do with the electric vehicle. We realize that electric vehicle, you need to be abreast with the current technology concerning that. And that's why we have started by first of all developing the curriculum, because that curriculum is going to be the guide for everybody that want to play doctor. Doctor was trained as a medical doctor, but today is now playing a major role in production of electric vehicle in Nigeria. The same way, because of the interest and because of expertise he has acquired outside the classroom. The same way we are doing with EV. There are some people that we acquire this experience not in the 4 walls of university, but we want them to be grounded. And that's why we have come up with this National Occupational Standards concerning that develop the curriculum for EV. So we have done that, and any moment from now again, we will be embarking on nationwide training of youth. We are already in the process, and we are going to introduce our youth to the common things in EV, the common things, because in EV you don't have plenty parts. So we need to let them know how do you charge, what the different kind of charging connectors that are available. Then all the little details that they need to know, and then how can you maintain an electric vehicle? These are things we are going to do. And in doing that, we are going to partner with people that are playing in that field. We are going to partner with professors, engineers. We are going to partner with engineers that are practically professional engineers, and also the vehicle assemblers or vehicle manufacturers. All these people, we bring them together, and we are going to organize those training and let Nigerians know how to handle EV vehicle. When we did the ICE, after training, sometimes we give them some, we like call it take home, like a diagnostic machine, for example. And with diagnostic machine, I was in one stage recently, and when they were talking to us, one of them mentioned that we have been able to move them from analog to digital mechanics. So the same way we are going to do in EV. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Where you left it, you've moved past, the anxiety, the initial anxiety level. Now.
Well, yes. So just picking up from where, so those anxieties that you had about charging, those are normal. It actually has a name. It's called range anxiety, because you are worried, where am I going to charge? I have 400 kilometers. But 400 kilometers is a lot. It's a lot. So
one way 400 kilometers will take you to as far as
actually, I'll throw out some data shortly to make people really understand this, what 400 kilometers is. But having said that, what has happened is every concern that I see people having, I've lived through this. I can relate to it, and I understand how these are very legitimate concerns. But the good thing is that people also need to take comfort in the fact that these are problems that other people have gone through, and people have actually walked their way through solving this. For example, charging. I have a charger at home. It costs, let me just throw out some numbers. If I were an Uber driver and I have our smallest product, for 4 hours, you get to finish that, because when we've been here on the ground collecting data for going on 3.5 years now, Uber drivers don't even drive 200 kilometers. So you will not even finish that charge. Not only that, if you have a car that has a 300 kilometer range and you are in Lagos, you are not going to charge but more than once a week, guaranteed. I don't charge more than once a week if I'm within town. So it's remarkable. It really relieves.
You mean if you're doing inner city driving?
Yeah, because don't forget that everywhere we go to in Lagos is about 22 by 24 kilometers. It fits in a box of 22 by 24. We don't drive a lot. We're just spending all our time in hold up. In Abuja, they drive a little bit more, but it's not a whole lot. So, people need to, but again, these concerns are valid, and our job is to actually make people understand, yes, your concern is valid, but now look at it this way. We have to educate the public, which is why we need the media. We have to partner with the media very tightly to educate the public and make them understand, because the truth is that the gas station is at home mostly, not where it's just, you have to just look at it a little bit different. You don't have to
go and be queuing.
No, you don't have to. And again, people talk about cost. Let me throw out some numbers to you. This is not a commercial. We just want to talk about EVs. So, an electric charger comes with, if by the time the EV is anywhere upwards of $25,000-ish, it will come with its own charger 100%. Even if it were lower than that, and I'm just throwing out a number, a charger that you would put at home, you can easily get for $300-400. And
you charge your vehicle at home?
Yes, the charger itself. And we have trained technicians that will install it for you. So some of the lower vehicles, the more affordable vehicles, may not come with a charger, but you can easily have a charger by us installed for you at home. It's not expensive. Not only that, what we have done as a company is we have actually provided a charging platform. We have already signed contracts. This is not a commercial. People can find out there are malls already in Lagos where we have banks of chargers. So that if you are a rideshare driver and you don't have a home where you can install a charger, you don't have steady power at home, well, you can park your car, charge it for 4 hours, and you can park it at 8 p.m. at night. By 12 midnight, your car is charged, and you are ready for your next day's work. 2,500 naira versus 20. Because if you're using a mid-size, it will be 20,000 a day. So
sport utility vehicle?
Yeah, oh yeah, much more. So our story is not just about an EV. Our story is very much about jobs. Because we're in rideshare rides by ourselves, we just wanted to know, apart from paying rideshare drivers to get data, we were actually entering rideshare in Lagos before we even started using our own cars for the drivers.
Rideshare or ride-hailing?
Ride-hailing, the same thing. Rideshare, ride-hailing. It's the difference between American English and...
Okay, because rideshare, what we understand rideshare to be in this part of the world is that we live in the same neighborhood.
And then we share. Yes.
We go in the same direction.
Yes, but
we
to
don't
us,
really want to be wasting this thing.
To us, it's just the same thing. The same difference between boot and bonnet.
Okay, yeah.
Yes,
English,
but English is just English, yes. But on a more serious note, we find out that these drivers benefit. It is about jobs. It is about making a living. It is about a guy who is spending so much on a vehicle that the vehicle itself, he cannot afford it. Now, by the time you give him a piece of equipment that the cost of maintenance is 50 to 60% less. And I tell people, look, I cannot compete with a Tokunbo car. But where I beat the Tokunbo car is this. Before your Tokunbo car reaches your hand from the port, you are spending money. Because that car has already spent 200,000 miles somewhere. You're already spending money on it.
To be honest with you, I was shocked about 2 weeks ago when I saw the advertisement gallery of one of the local EV assemblers. And I saw a sports utility vehicle. A typical sports utility vehicle that if you're looking at it, ostensibly, it speaks to the design, the look and feel of a Japanese or North American sports utility vehicle assembled in Lagos, and the cost is about half of an average Japanese sports utility vehicle that goes for, say, 50 million naira.
Yes.
And I was thinking, so can it cheap buy? You know, honestly, I was
well, you'll be surprised. So one of the things, actually, one of the hardest part we had to figure out was how do we get these cars affordable to even come and do this in Nigeria. That was very difficult. We had to use my contacts, my partner's contacts, because he does manufacture cars in the United States, to find the right vehicle at the right price. And when we were coming, we had specific vehicles we wanted to compete against. I'm not going to mention anybody's name.
But you know, given the paranoia that is now pervading Europe, because I was reading an article in the Economics magazine about 2-3 months ago, and Europe is alarmed now that EVs from a particular country are literally sweeping out, and they come with the best. Even you may even forget your smartphone at home, and the vehicle will serve as your smartphone, will make you run your office businesses, will make you run things at home. Maybe you forgot to put off the cooker. Let me go back to the DG for his epilogue. Mr. DG, we just have, as the person that personifies the standards for vehicular objects in Nigeria, the person that personifies the institution that also sets standard for how young Nigerians are trained to become specialists, auto maintenance technicians and engineers. How would you want to sign out from this show today? We know we're looking forward to many other opportunities for you when we have issues relating to automotive standards. But how would you want to sign out today, sir?
I want to sign out by assuring Nigeria that Rome was not built in a day. Just as Dr. Falaye mentioned, we have to start from somewhere. And with what we have on ground, we can really even scale faster than some of these developed worlds when it comes to EV adoption. First thing, we have to first of all disabuse people's minds, because by providing the right information to people, because there is this knowledge gap. A lot of Nigeria, just as you said in the beginning, did not know or still don't know that you can actually charge an EV car at home, because it depends on the size of the battery. Some of the car you can use AC or alternative currents to charge, just like the way you charge your phone. The same way you can charge your vehicle at home. And if you want to use fast charger, some of the assembler of EV, some of them have fast charging devices, which you can still use outside. I was at a place one day, and I was there with electric vehicle, with EV vehicle, and a top person that you would think to know about electric vehicle was Marvel. I was asking, am I sure this is real electric vehicle? And I said, yes. I have to take him and explain everything before he could believe that truly we could put electric vehicle on Nigerian road. So this is first thing we need to address. Bridge the knowledge gap. Let Nigeria know this is possible. Despite the fact that we have power challenges, but we know, despite the power challenge, we still charge our phone. We still use electricity at home. We still use electricity in our offices. The same can be done here. Again, on building the infrastructure, we know that some of the reason why the adoption is slow in Nigeria is the non-availability of infrastructure. And we know once someone have to start it, have the vehicle. And the people that want to buy the vehicle will say, I want to buy the vehicle, but there's no infrastructure. That means we have to start either by providing the vehicle, then investor will come and invest in infrastructure. Or we first of all start with infrastructure. But what we are doing is that we are building gradually, and that is a very good thing. Again,
thank you very much.
He has mentioned something about cost. We know, I'm assuring Nigerians, the cost of an electric vehicle is far, far cheaper compared to cost of owning an ICE, because we are only looking at cost of acquisition. We are not talking about cost of maintenance. We are not talking about cost of powering it. But when you bring the three together, acquisition cost, cost of maintaining it, and cost of powering it daily, you will realize that electric vehicle is far, far cheaper.
Thank you very much, Mr. DG. Thank you so much. We look forward to engaging you some other times, especially when it comes to enlightening our motoring public. Thank you. Doc, I really want to use this opportunity, your signing off opportunity, to let you speak to the Nigerian diaspora. I've got friends who make sure, and as an ex-diasporian returnee like you, I've got friends who make sure that their parents sleep in, they make sure that their parents don't sleep in darkness every day. They make sure that they have a car for mommy and daddy that should take them around. Many of them actually have cars parked in Nigeria, and many of them are not even aware that they are returnees like you. assembling electric vehicles in Nigeria. Because I know if many of them were to be aware that the assembly vehicle there are EV assembly plants in Nigeria, you know what? I don't want mommy to go and be queuing when there is a fuel shortage, or daddy to go and be queuing when there. So what do you want to, looking at your camera?
So what I want to tell the diaspora is that Nigeria that you see today is a totally different country. Okay, when I left, there was virtually no middle class. There's actually a bigger middle class in Nigeria. Going back to mommy and daddy, believe me, you do not want mommy and daddy to drive a car that is going to give them problem and the mechanic is going to, be their best friend. The solution is to give them actually an EV, because now you're solving that reliability problem and you're also solving the power problem. And then you're also solving the sending driver to go and drive, to go and queue in the gas station. But more importantly, I want to put your mind, as Bola and I were saying before the program, there is an actual investment opportunity for diasporans, because we all have cousins who need help and they reach out to us. But there is now an opportunity to invest in the renewable industry, and specifically electric cars, because now somebody can actually make a living using an electric car in ride hailing, using an electric car in mobility, using an electric car in mass transport. There are employment opportunities, but it goes back to that old saying of teach people how to fish rather than not giving them fish.
Feed them for a meal.
Yes.
Teach a man how to fish,
yes,
and you feed him for the rest of his
exactly.
life. Thank you very much, Doc. It's quite wonderful.
My name is Demola Bakri. To the new entrants to my world, I am Honorable Justice Demola Bakri, a prince from the Jibosho ruling house of the Bagura nation. I was born in Ibadan, then the capital of Old Western State, now the capital of Oyo State. Those were lovely days of peace and tranquility. I attended Ado Ibadan, and I remember after school work with my sister and other students from school compound through Imale Falafia College Crescent area. Then, we all never knew what life had in stock for us. It was a life of que sera. We had fun, just sleeping and waking up for school the next day. I remember the midday meal, sometimes yam, porridge, and vegetables. I remember fan milk. The dream was to be an electronic engineer, to understand how a voice from the box could reach so many homes. I remember Rediffusion, also my neighbor's television in the early 70s, and my father's struggle to buy one. I remember later my mother's struggle to buy a radio cassette player for the family. It was a compensation for our hard work at cleaning the compound. I remember the creation of state in 1976. and our usual weekend trips from Abeokuta to Ibadan. I remember the Ibadan-Abeokuta road and the Odeda sharp bend with inscription, "Sharp bend ahead, many have gone, be careful." It was indeed an era to behold. I remember the good old days of common entrance into secondary schools and the right to choose based on your ability when it was only 5 kobo per term as allowance. I wonder why we cannot have a brighter future. Yes, our children deserve more. Let each of us rise to contribute our quota to see to a bright and wonderful future for Nigeria. We still have an opportunity to print our foot boldly on the positive sides of sands of time. Our children deserve a brighter and better tomorrow. Not just the good old days. Let's change the narrative. I join Shemore in this collective drive towards a greater tomorrow. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Emmanuel Oluboboko and this is the news update. The Nigeria Labour Congress President George Airo has been arrested by the Department of State for Security and in Abuja, DSS, allegedly for terrorism financing, as Ajaero was on his way to the United Kingdom for an official assignment and was slated to attend the Trade Union Congress conference in London. The arrest came a week after he accepted an invitation from the police, which was initially issued over allegations of criminal conspiracy, terrorism financing, treason felony, subversion, and cybercrime. The NLC leadership warned of a nationwide strike if Ajairu's arrest was confirmed. Now, Ibrahim Shuaibu, a Nigerian businessman, has now been arraigned by the Kaduna Zonal Directorate of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for fraud. Shuaibu is facing 7 charges, including criminal breach of trust, impersonation and obtaining by false pretense, amounting to 100 million naira. The charges include conspiring to obtain money under false pretense in 2017, violating Section 8A of the Advance Fee Fraud and Other Fraud-Related Offences Act 2006, and obtaining a sum of 47.05 million naira from Faisal Safiyanu with intent to defraud, claiming to supply petroleum products. Shuaibu pleaded not guilty to charge at trial date. His counsel, Abdulkarim Audu, failed to file a bail application. Also, the Nigerian oil marketers may begin importing premium motor spirit after the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited announced it would only fully offtake the product from the Dangote Petroleum Refinery if market prices were higher than the premium pump prices in Nigeria, which the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, is considering analyzing the price of Dangote petrol and considering buying from Dangote versus importation. Industry observers argue that the government is not ready to stop fuel importation, but the recent hike in petrol pump prices suggests a shift in subsidies. Moving on, the National Association of Nigerian Students, NAN, to demand a reversal of the recent increase in petrol prices. The student body is in discussions with key stakeholders in the petroleum industry to find a solution. The NANs insist on a nationwide protest against the increase scheduled for September the 15th, 2024. The group has also called for the removal of the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari. NAN's President, Henry Okomo, believes the union can hold the government accountable due to spirit pump prices, citing market forces as the cause. The hike has led to inflation, increased transportation fares, and impacted essential commodities, particularly food items. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has blamed the hike on market forces, while Afenifere warns that failure to reverse fuel price hikes could negatively impact Tinubu's policies. The Arewa Youth Consultative Forum also calls for proper communication between the presidency and Nigerians and for the federal government to inform the public about its activities. And still on the news updates, Creative Think Tank for Poverty Alleviation and Empowerment has distributed premium motor spirits to over 1,000 commercial Okada riders in Kaduna State as fuel prices continue to rise. The initiative is part of the NGO's social responsibility to alleviate poverty and strengthen empowerment, and the chairman urges the government to prioritize addressing the needs of vulnerable citizens to alleviate frustration and agitation.
Hunger is killing people more than what we experienced in the past government. So we want the government to do better. If we as an organization can put this together and we can put small people face their smiley, we have the resources as a nation. It is there. So it's just that it is willpower and the ability to manage the resources that we have and make the people happy. Who put them in the office? I believe that is what this thing is all about. So it's a challenge for the government. They should sit up and do the needful. We don't want to hear excuses. We don't want to hear complaint. They said they can fix it. Let them fix the problem of Nigeria and let Nigeria smile and be happy because we have the resources.
Our beneficiaries are grateful for the intervention, which has come at a crucial time as they struggle with economic hardships, stating that fuel palliatives as a significant relief.
I'm feeling happy. It was this morning that my sister called me that they sent text to people that they should come here and there will be fuel given to them. I don't know which of the organization. It was when I came here now that I saw the name in their T-shirt. I'm very happy. I'm happy because of what I get now. It can serve me for almost 2 days in all my going. And what I'll get there, I'll get something like maybe 5,000 to 6,000 naira. So I'm very happy.
Wahala was too much because I was crying every day. Even my intention to go to farm tomorrow, I did not know because I have no money. But getting this fuel, I'll be able to go and do a little work this evening or tomorrow. Then I'll be able to go to farm to go and do it.
I feel really bad as a Nigerian. How can I take fuel 900 per liter? It's unfortunate. Black market is 1,500. It's unfortunate. So we are praying for a better Nigeria. This creative think talk, I'm very grateful for them. May God open more doors for them. This 4 liter will go a long way for me. This for the upper, I'm very, very grateful. May God continue to bless them.
The organization is implementing a poverty alleviation initiative across 23 local government areas in Kaduna State, providing hope to commercial drivers struggling with fuel price hikes. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has now launched a dedicated portal for online accreditation of journalists and media organizations covering the Ondo State governorship election. The portal will open on September the 9th, 2024, as the portal will automatically close on October the 31st, 2024. National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumeku, urged interested media organizations to apply well before the deadline. The portal will automatically close at 12 midnight on October the 31st. Which has often led to inaccuracies and complications in candidate records. It has also noted that a significant number of data correction requests arise from mishandling of candidates' information during group registrations conducted by schools. The board will not accommodate requests for corrections from candidates whose details have been compromised due to collective processing. Parents advised to ensure their children or wards complete their registrations personally. Also, as Nigeria's economy dwindles, our citizens are grappling with the resulting hardship and looking to the government to alleviate their sufferings. And that's on Street Views. Do take a listen.
The price of the commodities is so high to the level whereby what we are earning before is still remain how is it. Then the price of our commodities in the market is multiple times 3, 4, like all like before.
When I go to the market, things are very cost. Everybody is complaining. The hardship is too much. So we want the government to help us so that things will come down. When you have small money now you want to eat, you can't eat something that can bellyful you.
Everything is not there. Last 2 years, even last 4 years, they are not the same. So the prices are too much. So if they can reduce it to normal price, at least out of 5%, if it is 3%, It's okay.
Price of rice, price of gari, price of whatever it is, everything is expensive. The price you get today is different from the one you get tomorrow, and it's not getting lesser, it's getting higher by the day. I feel the government should do better because it is whatever it is that those people get that they sell back. So I don't blame the people, I blame the government. The government should do better. If fuel is okay, I feel people won't inflate price.
No, the price is different. At least the price they are selling now is ×3 of them. At least if government can help us on the price regulation, so we'll be fine with it.
So even a blind man that doesn't see, but he has the feeling, knows that things are not better. And the way I'm seeing it, our government are not doing anything and it can be better. You and I knows that things are not getting better. And we do have to pretend. We have to be factual. When you have a good father should listen to you. A bad father brought out a rebel child.
And now move on to other parts of Africa. Devastating fire at a school in Nyeri, Kenya has left at least 21 dead and over 100 unaccounted for. The fire destroyed at dormitories housing 156 boys aged 10 to 14, leaving 17 children missing. DNA testing is expected to begin on Monday, but officials warn it will take days. The cause of the fire remains unknown, and President William Ruto has declared a 3-day national mourning period. Another fire at a girls' boarding school in Isiolo town has also injured 3 students.
Their parents to be able to identify them.
Now, Algeria's President Abdelmadjid Tebboune and his challengers have accused the election chairman of announcing contradictory figures, resulting in a landslide victory for the 78-year-old head of state. The election authority has now claimed a 48% voter turnout, but later revised it down to just 5.6 million of the country's 24 million voters, equivalent to less than 1 in 4. Both of Tebboune's challengers had raised concerns about the discrepancy before joining in questioning it. The claims of irregularities have now shocked Algerians, and it remains unclear whether legal challenges will be initiated or the final certification of the result will be declared. The election period is now outraged activists and civil society groups. And outside Africa, Typhoon Yagi, Asia's most powerful storm this year, has caused widespread damage in northern Vietnam, leaving dozens dead and 35 people dead. The typhoon hit the northeastern coast, home to large manufacturing operations, and was downgraded to a tropical depression. Now, it caused power to millions of households and companies, flooded highways, disrupted telecommunications networks, and also caused economic activities in many industrial hubs. Now, however, a coastal city of 2 million reported no electricity. LG Electronics, acknowledged the damages at its production site. The weather agency warned of more floods and landslides. Now, Vadim Marusov, a professional ice skater from Russia, fled Russia with his fiancée in 2022, joining tens of thousands who arrived in Serbia after Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Many chose Belgrade for its cultural and religious ties to Moscow since the war began in Ukraine. Over 30,000 Russians registered for temporary residence in Serbia between February 2022 and mid-2023, establishing 11,081 businesses across various sectors. Relations between Serbia and Russia remain cordial, but many struggle to integrate and prefer to cling to a mini Russia inside Serbia. Ironically, many Serbians support Putin and also do not share the views of those who fled. Straight away, move on to business. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, LCCI, has called on the Nigerian government to continue power sector reforms and initiatives to improve electricity supply to industries. The LCCI, led by Dr. Chinyere Almona, praised progress in the power sector including a 3.3% increase in electricity meters provision. The RCCI also acknowledged Nigeria's industrial sector's growth of 3.53%, encouraged further government efforts in agriculture, oil and gas, trade and services. The agriculture sector needs import waivers, improved security and rural infrastructure, as the oil sector also needs stronger regulatory measures to address divestment, crude supply, oil theft and pipeline vandalism. On entertainment, renowned songwriter Will Jennings, known for penning iconic hits like Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On and Steve Winwood's I Love, sadly passed away at the age of 80. The news was confirmed by multiple U.S. media outlets. Jennings, a native of Texas, enjoyed a prolific career spanning decades, contributing to the success of numerous legendary artists. His work on film soundtracks, including the Oscar-winning Up Where We Belong and My Heart Will Go On, solidified his status as one of the most influential. And lastly, to sports news, Algerian boxer Imane Khelif, who recently clinched the gold medal in the women's welterweight category at the Olympics, has lashed out at Ellen Mox for leading a cruel campaign against her during the Games. Now, Khelif, who has faced controversy over her gender, accused Musk of spreading hateful rhetoric and is contributing to online abuse directed at her. Despite being born a female, Khelif was subjected to accusations and harassment from many individuals, including Musk and former U.S. President Donald Trump. Musk, who has been named in a cyberbullying lawsuit filed by Khelif, shared a post on his social media platform that called for men to be excluded from women's sports following Khelif's victory over Italian boxer Angela Carini. In an interview, Khelif expressed anger and frustration towards Musk, stating that his actions had caused significant distress to her and her family. And that's the news update. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, X and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel, Plosive Africa and Plosive Africa Lifestyle. You can also view us on Limex, from Limex and Glow TV app. I am Emmanuel Olubobokun. Many thanks for watching.
I will take you through this amazingness today.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Women are shattering glass ceilings around the globe, making indelible marks across sectors, and the Nigerian banking industry is not left out, as Adora Umeoji joins the list of female chief executive officers (CEO) in the sector. In this feature, we bring you the Zenith of Deputy Managing Director of Zenith Bank from October 2016. She obtained a bachelor's degree in sociology from the University of Jos, a bachelor's degree in accounting, and a first-class honors in law from Bayes University, Abuja. Umeoji is also a graduate of the University of Salford, United Kingdom, where she bagged a Master of Laws degree. She also obtained a Master's in Business Administration, MBA, from the University of Calabar, and a doctorate in Business Administration from Apollos University, USA. Bolaji Agbede. Bolaji Agbede, acting Group CEO of Access Holdings, took over on February 13 following the death of Herbert Wigwe, the company's former GCEO. Agbede has worked in banking operations, customer relationship management, and human resources management departments for over 27 years. Beginning her career in 1992 as an executive trainee, she worked her way up to manager in 2001 at Guarantee Trust Bank, where she also held various positions such as vault custodian and relationship manager. CEO of JKG Limited, a business consulting firm, in 2003. Agbede joined Access Bank in 2003 and as an assistant general manager and was responsible for managing the bank's portfolio of chemical trading companies. She also headed the bank's human resources department between 2010 and 2022 and was appointed the company's founding executive director, business support, in 2022. Agbede holds a bachelor's degree in mathematics and statistics from the University of Lagos, 1990, and subsequently obtained a Master of Business Administration degree from Cranfield University in 2002. Miriam Olusonya. Miriam Olusonya is the MD of Guarantee Trust Bank Nigeria Limited, a subsidiary of Guarantee Trust Holding Company, GTCO PLC, a position she assumed in July 2021. After beginning her career at the bank in 1998 as an executive trainee, Olusonya advanced through the ranks and now possesses over 25 years of experience in a variety of banking-related fields, including corporate finance, investment banking, financial markets, asset and liability management, investor relations, and transaction services. Before her appointment as the bank's MD, she was appointed Executive Director in 2018 and held positions as the group's treasurer and head of its wholesale banking division. Olusonya currently serves as a non-executive director on the board of GT Bank Gambia Limited. She is also a non-executive director of the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System (NIBSS) and the Shared Agent Network Expansion Facilities (SANEF). She graduated from the University of Ibadan, Nigeria, with a bachelor's degree in pharmacy (B.Pharm) and the University of Liverpool, UK, with a master's degree in business administration, finance and accounting. Nneka Onyali Ikpe. Nneka Onyali Ikpe took office as MD CEO of Fidelity Bank on January 1, 2021, becoming the first female MD CEO in the bank's history. Before the appointment, she was Executive Director, the Southwest Region, overseeing the bank's business in the region's 6 states from January 2015 to December 2020. She has professional experience in several management positions in legal, treasury, investment banking, retail commercial banking, and corporate banking. Onyali Ikpe holds Bachelor's of Law (LLB) and Masters of Laws (LLM) degrees from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, and King's College London, respectively. Yemisi Edun. Yemisi Edun is MD and CEO of First City Monument Bank, the first woman to ever hold the position at the organization. She assumed the position in July 2021 following an allegation of marital infidelity against Adam Nuhu, the former FCMB MD. Edun started her career in 1987 as a corporate finance specialist with Akintola Williams Deloitte, a member firm of Deloitte Touche Tohmatsu. Thereafter, Edun joined FCMB in 2000 as the divisional head of internal audit and control before assuming the role of Chief Financial Officer (CFO) of the bank in 2015. Edun holds a bachelor's degree in chemistry from the University of Ife, Nigeria, and a master's degree in international accounting and finance from the University of Liverpool, UK. Tomi Somefun. Tomi Somefun was appointed MD CEO of Unity Bank PLC in August 2015. Prior to her appointment, she served as the Executive Director overseeing the Lagos and Southwest Business Directorates and the Treasury Department of the bank. She has 35 years of experience in the private sector, 26 of which are in the banking industry. From 1982 to 1986, she worked as a senior audit assistant for KPMG, which was the beginning of her nearly 40-year journey to become the formidable banker she is today. After working for a few more years as a senior auditor at Arthur Andersen, she left in 1989 to become an associate at Ventures and Trusts Limited. Veering into the banking sector, she began working with Credit Bank Limited before joining UBA Group, where she served as the MD CEO of 2 significant UBA subsidiaries, including UBA Pensions Custodian, a startup company which was founded with her as the pioneer MD. She graduated from Obafemi Awolowo University in 1981 with a Bachelor of Education in English Language. Yetunde Oni. Yetunde Oni in January 2024 was appointed by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, as the MD CEO of Union Bank of Nigeria. Until her appointment with the bank, Oni was a financial services leader with a successful career spanning over 30 years, holding senior positions in international and local banks and focusing on emerging markets. Before she made it to the top of the financial institution, Oni had an 11-year stint at EcoBank Transnational Incorporated as a relationship manager from 1994 to 2005. In September 2014, Oni held the position of Pioneer Head of Commercial Clients at Standard Chartered Bank Nigeria Limited, before becoming the lender's MD and Country Head of Commercial Banking in West Africa in 2017. In January 2021, Oni achieved a significant milestone by becoming the first female MD CEO of Standard Chartered Bank in Sierra Leone. Oni is a University of Ibadan graduate with a bachelor's degree in economics and has an MBA from Bangor University, Wales. Ireti Samuel Ogbu. Ireti Samuel Ogbu, appointed in September 2020, doubles as the CEO of Citibank Nigeria and Citibank's country officer for Nigeria and Ghana. Before appointed CEO of Citibank Nigeria, Samuel Ogbu was the Europe, Middle East and Africa EMEA head, Payments and Receivables Treasury and Trade Solutions (TTS) under Citi's Institutional Clients Group (ICG), based in London, UK. She has also served as a non-executive director on the board of Citibank Nigeria Limited. For the past 32 years, Samuel Ogbu has held various roles across Citibank's businesses in the UK, Nigeria and South Africa, having worked in each of the countries twice. Samuel Ogbu obtained a bachelor's degree in accounting and finance from Middlesex University, UK, and has an MBA from the University of Bradford, UK. Kafilat Araoye. Kafilat Araoye was appointed in 2020 as the Pioneer Head of HR. Her last position at the firm was General Manager and Group Head, Human Resource Group, a position she exited in 2015. Subsequently, Araoye moved to XYZ Outsourcing and Management Consulting Limited. From 2015 to 2020, Araoye holds a first degree in history from the Obafemi Awolowo University and a master's degree in industrial relations and personnel management from the University of Lagos, graduating as the best student in her class.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on Plus TV Africa.
Almost Ember months, when we are reminded to be careful whilst driving, because we're coming to the end of the year, so let's make it a special September to remember. Speaking of driving, how are you coping with the new fuel price? Now, wow. If it's too expensive to go out, grab a book, or better yet, join me at the bar because we're always open. The 8th of September is International Literacy Day. The theme for this year, 2024, is promoting multilingual education, literacy for mutual understanding and peace. If you're of a particular age, you might remember Wazobia. That was Nigeria's attempt at attaining peace or promoting peace through cultural cohesion via multilingual education. Also, September is Sickle Cell Awareness Month. And my guest today knows a thing or two about sickle cell, and he's also an author. So I'm delighted to have him join us here today at the bar to talk about literacy and sickle cell. So go grab a drink and join us after the break. Welcome back. So in the past week, Nigeria got a brand new beauty queen. Chidinma Adechina was crowned the most beautiful girl in Nigeria. She's really beautiful. Whatever the issues might have been, it's a heartwarming story that the proverbial stone that was rejected by South Africa in this case is wearing the crown jewel bestowed on her by her fatherland, Nigeria. We wish Chidinma every success in the Miss Universe contest in Mexico, slated for November. Now, another beautiful Nigerian athlete also made Nigeria and Africa proud during the Paralympics in Paris. 18-year-old Miriam Eniola Bolaji won bronze in badminton, a feat yet to be achieved at the Olympics by an African competitor in badminton. Bolaji has reduced mobility in her left leg after an accident when she was a child. So congratulations, ladies. And not to forget the men. A king got his bride. 56-year-old King Mswati of Eswatini, formerly Swaziland, just got married to his 16th bride. And she's none other than 21-year-old Nomcebo Zuma, Jacob Zuma's daughter. The 21-year-old caught the eye of the king in Umhlanga, Eswatini. The spectacular reed dance is an opportunity to school young virgin schoolgirls in the Zulu culture. During the ceremony, the girls are a sight to behold. They wear short beaded skirts, decorated with fringes and buttons, together with anklets, bracelets, necklaces, and beautiful sashes. Their chastity and purity is also a big attraction for the king. So congratulations to the king and his 16th wife. And of course, his new father-in-law, Jacob Zuma, the former president of South Africa. Congratulations to everybody, the queens and the king. So after the break, you will meet my guest, and it is his birthday too. This is our first birthday at the Literary Bar. So we'll be popping something right after the break. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me at the bar. My guest today is Abayomi Oyelami. He's a writer, radio host, media PR personality, a genetic counselor, and a non-profit leader. He's a graduate of chemistry from the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, LAUTECH. Yomi is currently the communications officer at SAMIS. But most importantly, it is Yomi's birthday. Happy birthday, Yomi.
Happy birthday.
I told you we'll be popping things. So, is it me or you? So, Yomi, should I tell them how old you are?
Yes, please do. It's
So, Yomi's 40?
Yes.
Single?
Yes.
Searching or well, stop searching?
I'm searching.
You're searching?
Yes.
So, ladies.
AA first.
Ladies.
They will not talk about that thing.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. I told you, Yomi is wearing 3 caps actually. He's an author. He works for Sickle Cell as an advocate, and it's his birthday. So this is the 3rd cap for today, the celebration cap. So Yomi, I'm really, really happy that you're here. But first of all, let's toast to you. Yes.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. welcome.
Thank you
and
very much.
Thank you so much for spending your birthday with us.
Yeah.
And I'm just really, really glad that you're here. And then you have this amazing book that you wrote for children. And this plays right into the theme of Literacy Day for the year, encouraging literacy through multilingual education. And like I said earlier, Nigeria tried with Wazobia.
Yes.
And for a long time, it was amusing then, but it's still part of us, you know. So let's find out why you wrote this book. And then it's almost as if you had the foreknowledge, because this book is written both in Yoruba and English. And so that's part of the multilingual education that you already came up with. So Yomi, why did you write Finding Purpose for Kids?
All right. Thank you very much for having me on Literary Bar today. It's a great privilege to be here on such a day as this.
Yes.
My 40th birthday. That's awesome. I couldn't have planned this. And that takes us back to purpose.
Yes.
There is a purpose to everything in life. God has actually purposed us to be here. We weren't here by accident.
Yes.
So writing this book comes to me. Firstly, I know I'm a writer. I write poems. I write articles and all of that. So going to service about 10 years ago, I was like, what makes you an author? It is when you have a published work.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, now that I'm going for service, no matter how much I'm being paid, I'm going to save a part out. I want to publish myself. If I can't pay all the big names, but I can publish myself. And that led to having the first 1,000 copies of this book.
Okay.
And that's how I became a published author.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was, in the book, I'm trying to let children know that there is a purpose to their existence. Growing up for us, they tell us, okay, what do you want to become? What do you want to become? Okay, I want to become a doctor. And then we see all of those things. And then, if I look back at 25 years, sitting here today, I was like, I don't think I'll be writing. I don't think I'll be somewhere that will be on air talking about books and all of that, because I was all of my mind I was thinking about doctor.
Be on the radio,
be on
being
radio.
a counselor.
Yes.
And all of that.
Yeah.
I like this book because of its simplicity, and also because you talked about it to the children.
The children, yes.
About people trying to find, about the young men inside who wanted to inherit their father who was a good king.
Yes.
And even the shenanigans that went inside one of them, I think Adebi.
Yes, Adebi.
Trying to take over the throne.
Yes.
And that also keys into even the political shenanigans that we're having today.
Exactly.
But I also love the fact that you talked right into the Yoruba pantheon.
Okay.
The oracle, the Ifa.
Yes.
And that. And so there is nothing wrong in educating children from our culture.
Yes.
And so when we're talking about cultural cohesion, is also encouraging children to know their background and the stories. Yes. And the stories that helped us to find. So I would just want you, acting like Baba Agba, to tell the children something in Yoruba, and then you can translate in terms of finding their purpose.
Okay, ẹ̀yin ọmọdé, láyé ìgbà ìwáṣẹ̀ a máa ń sọ wípé ṣẹlẹ̀rú àgbo àgbàrá àgbo lọ́ṣún fi ń wẹmọ rẹ̀ kí dókítà ò tó dé. What does that mean? We are saying that in the years of eons, our fathers, our grandfathers, our parents, they also have a way of taking care of their parents, of themselves, their children. We also have a well-established way of life, talking about our health, our education, and every aspect of our life. So we weren't just some bunch of men and women who were just climbing trees and all of those things that you might have heard.
That people think that we're still doing. They ask you, where are the animals? You live, how many animals? You climb trees? Yes?
Yes, so we actually, it's a culture. There is an established culture called the African culture that educates that leads you on the way of life, and we are saying that this culture still exists.
Yes.
And we can actually still take valuable lessons from there. And so I was using this book to marry what we have in the past, bring it to what we have now, and let's have a fine mix. And that's what we have with this book today.
Yeah, but the book is small but mighty because there's so many lessons in it. And I like when the Adebiyi usurped powers from his father. From his father.
Yes.
You know, and Adesegun was sidelined, even though they thought he was a bad person. But the brother had to pay and bribe his way into being a king.
The office, yes.
And because he didn't have the passion for the people, he ended up being a terrible king. And the part where Baba was trying to teach the children that you can be a leader at any point where you are in life. Speak a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so talking about leadership, it is
and
not...
feel free to use Proverbs to say that.
So, talking about leadership, it is not until you have a crown, it is not until you have a exalted office that people are saying the excellency, honorable, and all of those things. Those are not the things that makes you a leader. Those are not the things that makes you a leader. You are a leader in every sphere of life that you find yourself, where you are making impact on a daily basis. And it doesn't have to come with the clout. It doesn't have to come with all the noise. It can just come in all the little ways of life that you do, all the things that you do. Your words of comfort, your encouragement here and there, those are the things that makes you a leader. We have you in the front of the camera, for example, before you know that you are actually leading. So live your life purposefully, and then be sure that what you are doing, you are actually impacting lives in a positive way. Let everybody that leaves you live with a smile. Let everybody that leaves you live with a joy that I met someone today who has impacted my life positively in a great way. So that is what life is all about. That is what we are saying, that live your purpose. And one thing is your life connects with another person. We're all interconnected. So what you do in your own sphere of life connects with what someone else does in their own sphere of life too. So we are trying to have a great...
Okay, to Cotton, how do we give that to children? During the end bad governance,
protest.
We saw, the protest. We saw 5-year-olds that were on the street. If you're me, now you're dear Baba Agba.
Yes.
What would you tell these 5-year-olds?
About protest?
No, about life, about finding a purpose in their life. Because protesting without proper guardianship will achieve no result.
Exactly.
So because these children do not seem to have any purpose. But in your book, Baba Agba was the one telling the children on how to live a better life. Imagine that those children have now been converged and you have to give them some advice. Before we round up the review of this book, what will you tell them?
Okay, so I think I read somewhere else, I can't lay my...
more Proverbs, you mean?
All right, so I can't lay I can't lay to someone who says, they said, whatever makes you mad, glad, or sad can be a link to your purpose in life. So for a 5-year-old who joins a protest, for example, or for a 15-year-old or for a 20-year-old, there is a reason why you joined that protest in the first place. Do you know that reason well? That's number one. Don't just join the bandwagon. Okay, why am I doing this? Okay, it's because of a certain person or a certain group of people that are not doing this and this. When you get to your own position, what are you going to do better? That is what we say. So it is not just to join the battle and just shout and shout and shout, and then when you get to the same place and you still repeat that thing, how are you making your life better for someone else? So that's what we're saying.
Finally, on this book, September is right here with us, and children are going back to school. So their occupation is students. What would you tell them? Yomi, I'm serious. I want those Yoruba proverbs.
All right, so Now, one thing about Yoruba proverbs is, or one thing about African proverbs is, you put fitting proverbs to situations.
Yeah, give them a proverb that they will carry back to school.
School. Okay. So I'll take my mind back to Jeff Odunjo. Jeff Odunjo says, there's I remember. All right, let me just say, whatever your hand finds to do, do it well. What you are doing as a student has a way of linking to what you are going to do in the future.
Yeah.
Yes, I may not have become a doctor like I wanted to be, but looking at what I do today, I have been able to marry health into education. So, what if I had not been serious with what I was doing earlier? I don't think I'll be here today. Okay. If I hadn't been serious with do your physics, do your chemistry, do your mathematics and everything, so you are doing it well. So do whatever you have at this point, do it well. So when you do it well, it leads you into a larger room. And then you can now explore. Then you can now think of, okay, what can I take from this place? Can I add it to this place? How do I link everything? And then the life just keeps moving like that. So
okay. Yomi doesn't want to speak Yoruba for me. He's forming.
Okay.
So on that note about him moving into health, we're going to take a short break now. And when we come back, Yomi is going to talk about something that he knows a tour thing about, like I said, but I'm also very passionate about Sickle Cell Awareness Month. So after the break, we will go into talking about the Sickle Cell Awareness Month. Do join us after the break. Welcome back. You're still at the Literary Bar with Yomi as our special guest. Before the break, we're talking about a book that Yomi wrote, Finding Purpose for Kids. Yomi is not just an author, as I said. Yomi is also someone who knows quite a lot about sickle cell, and being the Sickle Cell Awareness Month, I just think it is fitting for Yomi to talk to us about sickle cell. Yomi, what is sickle cell?
Okay, sickle cell is a genetic disease, a genetic disorder. The United Nations in 2008 labeled sickle cell as one of the foremost genetic diseases worldwide, and they decided to put a date aside for it, so which we now culminated into what we have as June 19, where we celebrate the World Sickle Cell Day.
Okay.
Now, we know that one day is not enough to talk about something like that. And so that's how we came about September, which is a whole month talking about sickle cell awareness. Why are we doing this? We are doing this to create awareness and advocacy around sickle cell. Sickle cell does not just affect blacks, doesn't just affect Africans. If you go into the Middle East, if you go into, there are various places, and in fact, with the movement of people all across the world, sickle cell is just virtually everywhere. So it is important that we keep bringing it into people's ears. Children, adults, everybody keeps knowing about what sickle cell is and what it is not, so that we can give the accurate information about it. And so we use this month to talk about everything about sickle cell, the myths, the superstitions that you may have heard about it, and then
Yomi, that's one superstition. Okay. Abiku, Ogbanje.
Yes.
Are they evil children, or we just didn't understand it?
Okay, so Abiku in Yoruba culture, in Ogbanje, all that we have then. So for us today, we don't hear about Abiku anymore. We don't hear about Ogbanje anymore. Why do we not hear about those things anymore? It's because we feel that probably because at those points, there wasn't enough information for people to know that, okay, this child actually has a health issue, not a spiritual problem, not a certain mother who is hiding under a banana tree and is causing,
witches.
Not witches, not wizards. So looking at sickle cell today and trying to look at marrying what we hear then and what we have today, we find that probably maybe some of those cases were actually sickle cell. So, and that's why we say today Abiku is not an issue today.
Okay.
It's not an issue today. So when we say Abiku in the past was, okay, they say they have a child and the child dies and the child keeps coming and keeps coming.
Just to punish the couple.
Just to punish the couple. And some people will say they even lacerate the body so that when the child comes, he won't be able to go back again.
Yes, you identify that evil child.
Yes.
So Yomi, we call people living with sickle cell warriors.
Yes.
Yomi is a warrior, and his 40th birthday is beyond special because with us we have a warrior who's attained 40. Happy birthday again, Yomi. It's really amazing to have you here and to have this conversation. And now that's another myth I want you to debunk. Because for the longest time, people assumed that people living with sickle cell would not live beyond 21. But you've almost doubled that age.
Yes.
You sure you? Yeah, almost.
Yes.
You've almost doubled that age. How can you tell parents today or people who are concerned what it means to live beyond 21 and be 40 and beyond? Because I know that at your organization, SAMI,
yes,
Auntie just turned 59.
Yes.
So what don't we get and why are we so scared?
Why are we so scared about sickle cell is because of information, basically. Some people have information, but it's not enough. Some people, what they have is total misinformation. And that is what creates the fear. That is what creates that atmosphere around people. And one thing about even living is the atmosphere that you live in.
Okay.
If the atmosphere is not welcoming, so it's possible that people will not be able to attain as much as they want to. When you have spoken so much evil into someone's life, when you have spoken so much hate, so much worry into people's life, they may get to that point when they feel that they just give up on life.
Okay.
So I was speaking with someone some times ago. I told the person, I was still in school, and I told the person, okay, you want to go into this relationship, you want to go into this. For me as a person, why I'm here is because I believe and I have strong hope that I'm going to continue living. I'm going to live my life full, live my life whole, and live my life well. So I told the person that for somebody to live long, they need hope. They need that belief that I can actually live long. So for me, living is not just about just living. It's about full life, it's about well life, it's about whole life.
Okay.
Yes.
Yomi, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I have two of the most important questions I've ever wanted to ask anyone living with sickle cell. Do join us after the break. Welcome back. So Yomi, before the break, you were telling us about hope, but now I hope you'll be able to answer these two questions for me. It's so important.
All right.
You're a genetic counselor.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Okay.
So people come to you now, they want to get married or they're already married. How does it work being a genetic counselor with Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative, which is where you actually do this counseling and work?
So for us as a genetic counselor, our job is more than just creating awareness. So counseling is a step higher than just creating awareness. If I go to a marketplace, for example, there's a limit of information I'm going to share.
Yes.
But when you come forward for counseling, it means that you are ready to learn more and you are ready to engage us. So, but as much as we engage you, we say counseling is non-directional. Our job is not to tell you no, yes, no. Our job is to judge with you and let us think about these things. If you think you go this way, do you think you'll be able to manage?
There's a word, there's a term you called it,
It's non-directional.
Non-directional
counseling.
So if you say non-directional, it almost negates the fact that somebody comes to you, because I come to you, you're not giving me any sort of direction, so where do I go? Now, don't forget again that religion has a lot to do with this. People say it's not my portion. I'm going to marry somebody who is AS. I'm AS, he's AS. I'm SS, he's AS. Yes. I'm going to marry him because my God will not allow me to have sickle cell children. Okay. So when you're saying it's non-directional, so me and my bobo, I'm AS, I'm actually really AS, and he is AS or he's SS. And we come forward and say, Yomi, counsel us, and you tell us it's non-directional. Okay. What do we do after talking to you?
Okay, so when you come forward to us, our job is to talk with you. Let's interact. How did you get to know that you are AS? How did you get to know you are AS? How many times did you do this test? Was it just once? Was it just a test that you just probably when you were going to school? So, you know a lot of shenanigans that comes with some of the tests that we do in
so you advise people should do their test.
So we ask them, you can go forward and try and do this test again.
But when people come to you, do you have places where you recommend for them to go to?
Yes, we have places that we can recommend to them.
Okay.
So for them to go and confirm and do the test again. In fact, we have cases where some people will tell you, I'm AS. When I did it here, they said I'm AS. When I did it here, they said I'm AA. We can even prescribe a much more truer test that doesn't leave a shadow of error. We can tell them to, go and do this test and bring it back. And now let's talk about these things. If you go ahead with this marriage, sickle cell is not 100% like, once an AS marries, they must have an SS child. No, it's not like that. It is a probability thing.
It's kalu. Yes. It's kalu. English you like speak, it's kalu.
All right, it's kalu, but that kalu is not operated by you.
Yes.
So that's one thing. That's what makes it different.
Yeah.
When you go to a casino, for example, you are the one playing, you can see where you are playing. But in this case, you are not going to see it.
You don't determine that. So now let's talk a little bit about genetic testing when a woman is pregnant.
Yes.
Are we doing that here?
Okay, so we have various levels of genetic testing. We have what we call the prenatal diagnosis.
Yes.
Prenatal diagnosis talk about a child is still in the womb. They can test for the genotype of the child.
Okay.
Now, it's quite expensive, and that is why when we talk to people, are you sure you can even do this in the first place? If you can't do this, now imagine going to the hospital and you have to sit days. And your boss is telling you if you are not coming here tomorrow, you are losing your job and all of those things. How much do you earn? You even bring it down to the economics of managing a child living with sickle cell. And for you, if you have a child living with sickle cell, does not mean you cannot have another child with sickle cell. We have families that have as much as 3 children, 4 children living with sickle cell.
Yes, with their mom too being sickle cell. Yeah.
Yes. So
now, Yomi, this question plenty. But again, I hear that people go and do some sort of treatment and then they become cured of sickle cell.
Yes.
Can you cure sickle cell? Can you tell us? Now, we're not medical professionals, but you live and work with sickle cell.
Yes.
So if anybody should know, I think you have an idea.
All right. So we have levels of cures that with innovation and medical breakthroughs now. Yes, cures actually. Cures. Okay, so the first level that is quite still expensive but still quite accessible to a lot of people now is called bone marrow transplant. How does bone marrow transplant works? They look for a sibling or a family member who has a similar construct in terms of the blood cells that they can take samples from to infuse into this person. So when we say a transplant, it means we are saying the organ in this person who lives with sickle cell will not produce the blood cells any longer. We are going to introduce a new body in that form of saying.
Okay.
To start producing blood cells for that person.
Bone marrow. Then
yes, so that's bone marrow transplant. Then we are now talking about gene therapy now. So bone marrow transplant, what does it do? It's now this person will no longer have crises, we no longer have
it's
all the
permanent.
Yes, so he's no longer the person is no longer going to have crisis, all of the complications that come with sickle cell. But this person will still have to marry somebody who doesn't have sickle cell.
Okay, that's why it is genetic. You are born with it.
You are born with it.
So the person has to be careful. This is really interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
So the gene therapy that we are going to now, which is still in the early stages, now can ensure that they go into the chromosomes, the DNA of the person.
That's when they are born, or someone like you now?
So for someone like us, even for people like us, bone marrow transplant is even has higher success rate in younger people compared to people like us who are now 40 and upwards.
Baba Agba. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I mean, this conversation is just...
Sami is bringing what we are doing here now.
What Sami does.
Okay, so Sami is Sickle Cell Advocacy and Management Initiative. We were founded in 2008 by a woman by the name Toyin Ebiduni Adeshola, who also lives with sickle cell herself. She was born, she's now 59.
Yeah.
So what do we do? What we do is we have I used to say our vision is like a bird. We have two wings. We have a vision to have a society where sickle cell disorder is reduced.
Yes.
And people living with sickle cell and their families are able to live healthy, positive, and productive lives. So we say that sickle cell can be reduced. We are not saying that sickle cell will be wiped out.
Okay.
Because even for you to, that's a different conversation entirely. Because sickle cell has a malaria connection. That's a malaria connection.
You are right.
So now,
plenty.
So on the other hand, we also have people who already now live with a condition to help them live healthy lives, help them live productive lives.
I know that the medical bills for that is crazy, and the SAMI annually does a lot of clinics and workshops for people. You are doing HMO for people living with sickle cell. And that brings me to the fact that every February during the Lagos City runs, SAMI always
join the marathon.
They join the marathon and they have targets for that. Yomi is a marathon now. But please, can we just let everybody know that you only do 10K? I do 42 kilometers.
Yes.
So I'm the champion here. But Yomi is so dedicated to this cause. Not just because of the fact that he lives with it, because we know that there are people living with sickle cell that, again, for spiritual reasons, do not want to identify with the cause publicly, because they'll say, it is not my portion. And we also know about the stigma.
Yeah.
So I just want to encourage you, and I hope that in 5 years, 10 years, we'll be here to do your 50th, but then you will have a wife with you, Yomi.
Amen. And children. Twins are coming.
Yomi is single, though. This fine boy here is single. So ladies, he's also searching. But as he says, it must be a lady that is AA.
Yes.
Yomi doesn't play. Yomi is black to the bone. So I don't even know how we're going to do that. Conversation will be another time when you tell us how you are black to the bone. But this is a bone marrow issue that we are talking about. So that shows you that it is really, really deep. If someone is saying it's a skin deep, but this one is bone deep.
It's bone deep, yes.
So please, let's be careful out there. Love is good. Loving with reckless abandon is also good. Passion, everything. But when a child is living with sickle cell, it can tear the family apart because it is expensive. It is even difficult for a parent to watch a child going through crisis. It is traumatic. So, Yomi, they have a website. We're going to put it up there with his name so that you can reach out to Sammy and even get more information. Like I said, he does counseling, non-directional counseling. So there's no judgment there. You just go there and learn as much as you can. So please, Yomi, together with Auntie Toyin, they said this year they don't want gifts. Just please keep donating to the cause, especially for healthcare. Because, I mean, what is life without good health? So please, how often do you have your clinics where you give out free medication and tests?
Yeah, so the clinic, the Extra Care Field Medical Clinic, used to be a monthly clinic actually, but because of the economic conditions that we found ourselves, we've reduced it to quarterly. Quarterly, and so we stagger it like that so that our beneficiaries they can take probably drugs worth 2 months, then that will last them till the next clinic and all of that. So everything that we do at the clinic is absolutely free. In fact, everything we do at SAMI is free.
Yes.
It's free for
And I also like the fact that SAMI employs mostly people living with sickle cell, because I know how difficult bosses can be, even when you have ordinary malaria, how much more if it's a recurring situation. So Yomi is just a powerhouse, and Yomi, I can't thank you enough, and I hope that you will keep coming back. But before you go, we have cake for you. So just going to take a short break so that we can get our cake ready, and then Yomi can make his wish, and then we'll round up. See you shortly. So it is time for the cake. So Yomi is here holding his cake, and Yomi, I'd like you to make a wish before you blow out your cake. I know some of the things that I wish for you, but it's mostly love, happiness, and joy. But you know what you want more. So please, for the first time at the bar, we're having a party.
All right, I wish that I keep living God's purpose for my life. I wish that I keep living God's purpose in wealth, in health, in wellness, with family. I love family, I love community, I love my people. So that I'll live my people, I'll live long. I love living long. And I know I can live long, I can live well, I can live full life. So
So
that's what I wish for myself, and I trust that God will do it.
Amen. Amen. All your wishes have come true.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Because I know you're a Christian. Amen. So happy birthday, Yomi. We want to thank Sweets and Treats, Diane Olatunde, for giving us this cake. She is a very good friend of Yomi. So thank you so much, Diane, for Yomi's cake.
Thank you.
So Yomi, blow out your cake and then let's start eating.
Should I blow it out?
Yes, please blow it out. No, we have more. Diane sent plenty, so yes. As we round up the program, I want to crave your indulgence to read a bit more so that kids around you will imitate reading as a hobby. Come together as friends and volunteer to teach someone who needs education. Just like Yomi's book said, let us give children a purpose, and let's help them find their purpose. I also want to thank Yomi for coming here to talk to us about the Sickle Cell Awareness Month. Happy birthday again to you, Yomi, and happy birthday to Auntie Toyin. We just want to send you so much love and keep on doing the work that you do. So let's use literacy for mutual understanding and peace. Thank you for staying with me, but remember that the bar is always open. Please follow us on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa. You can watch us on DSTV channel 408 and on YouTube. Until I come your way next time, make your life a great story. My name is Chinedu. Bye-bye.
I left Nigeria back as far as 2012, and it was a very funny story. As you can see from my social media pages, my best food is amala. So I worked after work. I'm a medical doctor, full-time doctor. After work, I went to this famous place in Oshogbo where they have amala, just next to my hospital. So while I was there, I sat down with the food, and then I saw this newspaper advert saying doctors needed urgently in Saudi Arabia. So I abandoned my plate of amala. The rewards were just amazing, and I couldn't believe my eyes. You know, free accommodation, free flights. I was earning, you know, I was going to earn like times 20, you know, of what I earned at the time, in dollars as well. So I packed my bags, went home, packed my bags off to Lagos. I was at the Ikeja for the interview. Like immediately? Immediately, I left the amala, went home, packed my bags, and off I went to Lagos. The next day I went for the interview, did the interview. There were loads and loads of people there. Did the interview and got picked, and I was on my way to Saudi Arabia. So from Nigeria, I worked in Saudi Arabia for 2 years, and then I walked around the Middle East, Dubai, Oman, Bahrain, and from there, while I was working, I was writing my exams to work in the UK and the Republic of Ireland. So from there, I got a lecturing position in the UK, and then I was able to pass my exams within that time. So I got my licenses to be able to practice in Europe. So at the moment, I can practice in Europe, I can practice in New Zealand, I can practice in the Middle East, and of course in Nigeria as well. So my journey hasn't been straightforward. My journey has been from Nigeria, scattered around the Middle East, and then Europe. The first culture shock I faced was I landed on a Thursday and obviously Friday, but it didn't click that Friday was a day to be respected in the Middle East, in the Muslim society. So I got up, was looking for food. I got out of my house, and after walking for like 5 minutes, it still didn't click that I was the only one in the environment, okay? So after walking about, say, 500 meters, I suddenly saw a car just drove in front of me and blocked me, and then I saw all just came, and of course I didn't. So the guy just came and said, "What are you doing out here? It's Friday. You're supposed to be praying." I'm like, I paused, and then he says, "Okay, are you a Muslim or a Christian?" "Yeah, are you a Muslim or a Christian?" I swear I didn't know whether to say Muslim or Christian because I didn't know what was going to happen. If you say Christian and they start flogging you, if you say Muslim, why are you not in the mosque? So I paused, and the guy said, "Bring out your Ikama." I showed him my Ikama, which is like a resident permit. That shows your religion, so it shows I'm a Christian. And then he said, "Where are you coming from?" I said, "I just got into Saudi yesterday. I don't know what's going on." Then he said, "Well, today's Friday, Jumat. You have to be praying. If you're not praying, you respect it. Stay in your house between this period." So I said, "Okay." He said, "Everywhere is closed. You can't even get food." So I said, "I'm sorry. I will walk back right now." And then another one that was amazing, even though I was a doctor, I couldn't speak to female patients. So if a man comes in with a woman and the woman is the one with the problem, you cannot talk face to face to her. You cannot ask her. You have to ask the husband, say, "Okay, why have you brought this woman here?" And then the husband would. So my first experience, I spoke to this woman who had a breast lump, and I was talking. The husband was just looking at me. So when I finished, he was answering me. And when I finished, the guy just lost it. "How can you be talking to my wife?" I was like, I'm not toasting your wife, guy. You know, calm down. So the medical director had to give me an education, you know, yeah. So we were able to just placate the guy at that time. So that was one culture shock for me as well. I've traveled a lot of countries. I've seen 50 different countries now. I would say that in Europe, okay, so some very interesting ones. When I got to Europe, I was in my house, just sitting on my own, and friends said, "Come on, there's this birthday party happening, let's go and eat." I said, "Birthday party? Oh yeah, let's go now, where's the venue?" So I went to the venue, we ate, we ordered, ate everything, finished. Birthday party. At the end of the day, the celebrant came and said, this is the bill. And in my head, I'm thinking, bill for what? I should pay that you invite. I was in my house. I was in my house. You invited me. I came to eat. Now I have to pay the bill. So that was one. The second one was, of course, driving. In Nigeria, you're on the left side, but in the UK, you're on the right side. So that was another culture shock for me in Europe. Okay. It's important to state that I always talk about the way to live legally within the legal bounds without violating any international laws, which is opposed to what people do, most people do. And if you notice very well, people live, you know, it's upward movement. You're living from poorer countries to rich countries. And interestingly, it's not as if the people who leave their countries illegally, generally speaking now, are not the poorest of the poorest when you put the standard of their country into context. They're not the poorest of the poorest. But because they're looking for better opportunities, they're looking for a place where they will get, you know, larger finances, a better standard of living, education, good access to health. That's why they're leaving. So they don't care how they do it. So long as the promises, you know, they've been given good promises, then they just take that pathway. I always use my social media handles on Instagram, on YouTube, Waka Waka Doctor, to tell people of the legal ways. And the reason why people most times don't want to follow this pathway is because I would say it's inherent laziness, because you have to do the work. You know, this illegal pathway, they're possibly going to say, pay this amount of money, we will just move you across the border. But they don't consider the consequences that come with it. This way that I preach involves a lot of, you know, work. You have to do a lot of work. So it means that you have to do research, you have to make applications, you have to pay little amount of fees, and then get the end result. So if you're not open to working, I give tips, I point you towards the right direction, but if you're not open to working, then it becomes a difficult task for you. So the easiest way is to keep educating ourselves. We keep educating these people and passing the information across. And I mean, this is one thing I'm doing now, and it's one thing I've been doing for the last 18 months, using Instagram, Twitter, YouTube to pass the information across. If someone comes to you to say, okay, I'm going to take you to Europe, you're a cake baker, I'm going to get you scholarship, there are documents you want to see. There are documents you want to see. You have your original passport. Have you submitted a statement of motivation or a letter of intent? Do you have a visa? Have you submitted documents to help you get an original visa? Do you have a work permit? Have you seen an original work permit? Have you called your employers over there to confirm that I have a real job and I'm coming to resume? So that again brings me to my first point, that people are mentally lazy. They don't want to do the work. Because when someone gives you documents and say, oh, this is your document, we're going abroad, you should say, give it to me. Let me confirm if it's real. Let me confirm if it's original. If it's a work permit, I'm going to call my employers to see if this job is real. If it's a school admission, I'm going to ring up the school to find out if it's real. I told you behind the cameras, I said, people have this mentality that, you know, things work outside just the way it works in this country. It's wrong. If you pick up the phone and call an admissions office, they will talk to you. If you pick up the phone and call an employer, they will talk to you. You're just looking for information. And if the information is real, they definitely get it. So, like I said, the first way to help with spread of information, help curb this is spread of information, educating people. And that's what I've been doing for the last 18 months using my social media platforms. Nothing good comes extremely easy, okay? You have to be patient. I tweet sometimes, I say that, I say, when you travel abroad, your life changes. You know, your skin becomes fresh, your smile is different, okay? There's peace of mind, you know, things come to you easily. You can actually actualize your dreams. You can live out your dreams right in front of you because there's a system that supports that. So my advice is, When you go abroad, be patient, keep working hard, don't stop, don't relax, you know, have a vision, write it down, allow your eyes see that vision, you know, consume it, and continue to work towards it. It's simply as basic as that. That would be my advice. Save, and always call home, because one of the downsides to going abroad is that it can be boring sometimes. And that's why you should call friends. Don't cut people off. Call friends. You know, always call home if you miss home. Like, I'm home now because I missed Amala. I missed all those things, so I came home. So yeah, that's my advice. Keep working. Keep your head down. Of course, keep your connections back home so that you can always come back to them. This is a huge subject. It's a huge subject, and it's not something I can share in 1-2 minutes. So I'm going to say that the first thing you want to do is open an Instagram account if you don't have an Instagram account, and look for me, Waka Waka Doctor, because I give tips. Now, there are job boards across Europe, across Asia. You cannot streamline your choices and say that, oh, I just want to be in Canada, I just want to go to the US, I just want to go to the UK. There are 195 different countries in the world, so you have to say that I'm open to any one of them. And most of these countries have job boards, okay? Websites, different websites where you can submit your applications. You go through rigorous interviews, you submit documents. If you then succeed, they are able to process your work permits and employ you. Now, some people will say, oh, I've tried the UK, it didn't work out, so they give up. But there are different countries in the world. There's Turkey, there's Lithuania, there's Kazakhstan. I know teachers that I've spoken to, in fact, 6-7 of them in the last 4-5 months who have left Nigeria to Kazakhstan, right? They teach English. They earn at least $1,800 in Kazakhstan, which is much more than what they will earn in Nigeria. So there are 195 countries. I post them, I mean, almost every day on my Instagram channel. So you can watch and see some of these job boards and apply for jobs. Some basic truths and facts is not every doctor can leave the country. So even if doctors are leaving, more doctors would graduate and you still have doctors around. But doctors are leaving in their large numbers every day. So the future of medicine in Nigeria is very bleak, because you have the extremely intelligent doctors leaving, going abroad, because the system abroad is extremely encouraging. The system abroad gives you opportunities to become greater than what you can ever think or imagine. People keep writing their exams, people keep going for interviews because the system allows it. So the advice straight up I'll give to the Nigerian government is, first and foremost, create a platform that encourages us as doctors. Facilities, give us things we can. It's not as if, you know, things we only see in the books, things we can see and work with. Pay us money. I worked in Osun State. My salary in 2011 was 90,000 naira. I was doing 2 jobs and I couldn't earn 120,000 naira, 2 jobs. When I went to Saudi Arabia, salary was $5,000. Look at the discrepancy, it's too huge. And they were owing us 6 months. You owe someone 6 months. How can, I was seeing 200 patients in a day. 200 patients. How, I mean, the first 10 patients I see would get the best out of me. The other ones, the truth, it's just the truth. The other ones would be people, that's it. It doesn't work that way. Create a good culture, a good environment for doctors to work. Pay them properly. You know, give them, you know, standard remuneration that they can compare with their friends and colleagues abroad and say, okay, yes, we you know, it's commensurate to the work we do. Nigerian government really has to improve. The future of Nigerian doctors, sadly enough, is abroad, and countries are asking for them. Like, the PLAB exam is an incredibly easy exam to just write and pass. So people are writing it and moving, you know. So if Nigeria cannot improve this part's payment, then it's a poor tale. I would end on this note to say that this is a popular theme that I've always passed across, to say that travel is not necessary of money, but of courage. And the reason is because it takes courage to decide to leave a place you've been for many years and go to a place that's brand new. You're going to be leaving your friends, you're going to be leaving your family, you're going to be leaving your job, you're going to be in search of ways to make money, search of better career. So it's often very difficult. The first step is the most difficult one, the most daunting one, saying, I want to move. It's very difficult. But I would always encourage you to take that step. When you start, you will get to the end. Don't wait, start now. It's another year, it's 2022. My aim is to get at least 2,000 people abroad. So if we can do that, we've succeeded. Okay? There are better opportunities out there. If you're attaining this level right now in Nigeria, if you go abroad, you'll be times 20. That's it. So start now, make the move. If you're in town, if you catch me in any of the cities abroad, you can. Traveling abroad, migrating abroad is not age specific. Age is not a limitation. Even if you're in your 50s, you're in late 50s, you can still go abroad. I always talk about academics because academics seems to be the easiest path. But even if it's true career, like I've said earlier, you can go search for these job boards that will give you employment. Again, experience counts. I'll give you an example. Places like Australia are in need of people with huge experiences in different fields. Whether you're a cameraman, you're a technician, you're a chef, if you have 5-10 years, electrician, 5-10 years of experience, and you apply for jobs in Australia, they'll take you. Estonia, Lithuania, these are places that are in need of vocational, you can do vocational studies. If you're not a skilled worker, so to say, these are places that are in need of you. So age is not a factor. So even if you're 50 and you have 15 years of experience to back this, they're looking for you.
Good day and welcome to your favorite sport program on TV, Plus Sport. As usual, when it's time for Plus Sports, it's always time to know what's going on in the world of sport. And we know several times, you've been following us on all our social media platforms, you know that we give you not just any sport. So if now is another time of the day where you ought to know what's going on in the world of sport. We know on Saturday is the qualifiers where Nigeria will be playing with Benin Republic. We lost the first leg 2-1. Benin, being led by our former coach Garnacho, came from a 0 down to, give a devastating defeat to the former coach that's talking about Fene De Jong. So there's been so much since the first time, and now has happened. The coach, no coach, and all that issues. Now we have the technical director Augustin Iguavon, who was one of the best generations of defenders Nigeria ever had, that will be taking us, and he's going to be in Uyo. And also we'll be looking at the transfer saga that has to do with Victor Osimhen. I'll be doing this alone. I have you watching from your comfort zone, and I also have a sport administrator who has done so well in the development of sports in Lagos and beyond, talking about Henry Wanya. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you so much, Modashi.
Yes, sir. It's not just Henry. Like you can see, I have a very young, talented player. He's a Nigerian Spanish player who has done so well for himself. Still has a future ahead of him. Talking about Joel Og. It's good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. And this is your first time of coming to Nigeria.
Yes.
Okay, you share the experience of how you see Nigeria later on the program. But let's go straight to you, Henry. Interesting program coming on Saturday. The world is waiting for Austin Eguavoen. He's third time lucky. You know, he's a very, very lucky man to take the Super Eagles to what should be an unbelievable position to see whether he can do what is expected of him. What should we be expecting on Saturday against Benin Republic, knowing that we are second to the last on the log table?
Yeah, it's going to be a serious business from our own angle. That is talking about the Super Eagles. Looking at the man that will be at the helm of affairs, the technical director, Austin Eguavoen, is well experienced. He understands the situation where we are. After the whole saga, losing against Benin Republic. And of course, the players as well have been instructed. They as well know that this is going to be a serious business. And we are a serious business because we need to qualify, not just for the AFCON, we need to qualify. The qualification will also lead us for the World Cup, so in 2026, and then AFCON for 2025. So this is a serious business, and the coaches on ground, both the assistant coaches that have been called up to assist in this particular tournament, you know, they are all well experienced. They are all Nigerians. They understand that this is a patriotic call. It's a Korean call, not like just go there and do your job. So it's a job that everybody is looking at. Okay, the entire country is interested in Saturday's game. And for Benin to beat us, call it revenge, we are coming for revenge, or we are coming to take back our position. Whatever it is a must win for us. And from what we have seen on ground, I think the team is ready to go. We are praying that let them maintain the code of conduct, especially from the angle of players. At the time, some of us have been angry regarding late, some players that are usually late, and this time around we see them coming late. So we don't actually want that. We want them to be early so that they can be able to, you know, form a very strong team, you know, work together as a team and be able to give us the result we want. What we want on Saturday is result. There's no story, no excuse. And we are hoping that Saturday will be for Nigeria.
Yeah, it's also good to remind you and remind our viewers out there that this match it's something interesting. We lose this match, we'll probably not see ourselves in the next tournament. And let's look at the Equatorial Guinea, Benin Republic defeating us 2-1. Don't you think they also have a kind of plan to ensure that Oman away, because Garnacho has so much of our knowledge, he has done so. He has taken us to the third place of the Nations Cup before. He has qualified us to the World Cup before, and I think in and out of the Super Eagles, there's none of the players that is a novice to him, to his understanding. So Garnacho probably have an upper hand because, you know, I don't think Eguavoen has that knowledge of who our opponent is. I'm just saying that I don't know whether they must have done anything about that, but I think looking on paper, Garnacho, Benin Republic defeated us 2-1. Garnacho has done so much with the Super Eagles. Don't you think this might end up being a defeat?
No, not at all, Mudashitu. The reason is this: yes, Garnacho knows us to an extent.
A very good extent.
Yes, yeah, say good extent, but what is going to happen is just the spirit of Nigeria. We need to come up and show that we can do something. Okay, and not just doing something, we need to tactically defeat whatever plan that he has. Okay, so we are going to, the coaching crew, of course, they are going to look at their game properly. They also, the same way he knows us, we also know him. Okay. Even the players as well, we also know him. We, at least he have been with our players, talking to them in the dressing room. Please, this is what you need to do this, do this. And of course, he must have found himself in similar condition when he was with our players. And some of the things he told them, of course, we are going to analyze it from that angle. This is what he's going to tell the Benin Republic players. please, you must do this. Look at this player, mark him, make sure you don't allow him to, have some pairs over you, this and that. We understand all that, but practically, we are going to try as much as we can to overcome whatever he's going to bring on board. And I can tell you, take it from me, he's not going to succeed this time around.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the hope of all Nigerians, that Garnacho and Benin Republic will not succeed this time around. But you also know that they also have their plans, the plan A on how to maneuver their way. If you can get 2-1 away, because that the first win was probably on the neutral ground, not even at home in Benin. Now they're coming back here to do something. Who we know, Garnacho knows so much about that field. But let's put that aside. There are 2 coaches that have been added to the squad. Talking about Fidelis Elechukwu, he has won with Enugu Rangers.
Yeah.
We know what he did with MFM for several years, and he has been experienced. He's an experienced coach. Now we have Daniel Ogumodede from Remo Stars.
Yeah.
Very fantastic coach. He has been in the CAF Champions League before with Remo, and I think that's still this same season too. So what do you think those 2 coaches we add to the existing coaching crew that is going to be led by the man they call Cicero?
Yeah, you see, these 2 coaches, just like you analyze them, they are sound coaches. They are one of the, when you talk about the best we have in the country, they are. Dan and Fidelis, they are sound coaches, and I know that they are going to help to bring on table part of the food we are going to feed Benin Republic, especially Genetro. So we want to disappoint him this time around, okay? Knowing us to that extent, is not enough for him. I think it's high time people need to understand that this is going to be a Nigerian affair. There's no foreign person with us. So we are doing it our own way. And I can tell you, when Nigerians bring out their spirit and say, we have put this as a challenge to them, they all know. Guavo, Felix, Daniel, they all know they are on hot seat. And not only them, the players as well. So it's becoming so disappointing to us and embarrassing as well. So this time around, apart from making sure we're able to seal up that embarrassment, we also want to take our place to make sure we qualify for the AFCON and also we qualify for the World Cup.
Okay, now let's look at the man called Cicero Osine Guavon. Let's look at the last time he was the coach of the Super Eagles, and let's use that to determine what his future will be. We don't know what the contract is, but we know that he's there on the interim basis. The last time he qualified us to the Nations Cup, he did so well, won the 3 matches in the Nations Cup. In that, I think the 2 previous Nations Cup, and he lost out in the round of 16. And we're looking for a coach. That brought about our last coach before Fini the Judge. What do you think should be his fate after this nation? If he wins and takes us out, do you think we should retain him as a coach of the Super Eagles, or the search should continue for a foreign coach? And that foreign coach was the reason why our own, one of the former best 7 in the world, talking about Finito, resigned. What do you think should happen afterwards if eventually Osine Guavon do the job as expected?
Yeah, we, as I said before now, we have been saying this always. We need to start believing in ourselves as a country. We have what it takes. We have those who can actually bring this country where they're supposed to be. I'm not also saying that it's wrong to have a foreign coach. We also understand that sometimes, the pressures, especially some political pressures and some other pressures also coming from the players, sometimes lead us to unnecessary step or putting our team in state of limbo. We know that these things have been happening, So, but from my own angle, from what I have seen, is that if a Guavo happens to save us from this corner we are, he has great chance, of leading the team. Even if he's not the one to be the head coach, he can still have his position as a technical director. But you see, sometimes the technical director cannot do everything.
Definitely.
You know, even if he gives some advice, there are possibility that the coach will say no.
Okay.
So we are seeing, I mean, we are looking towards a synergy where they can really work together. Even if we have a new foreign coach who will be coming in to us to be part of the team, you know, they need to work together. The problem we have is not them working together sometimes and not really working as a team to give us the result we have. That is one of the major problems. Then another problem we have is also from the angle of the players. And then we shouldn't also forget the administrative angle, which is our NFF. So they need to come together to see how these three stakeholders can really work together to give us what we want. Because Nigerians, we are spending the money, we are doing a lot of things to make sure that our national team is up there. And I pray that after this, we are going to succeed. Eguavoen and the remaining team will still be there to always be for us.
Now let's take our mind back a bit. I mean, to see the audio issue that has to do with the German, Labadia, who said the NFF have to be in charge of his tax and all that, that they were not seen penciled down in real in terms of financial commitment, and NFF announced that he is the new Super Eagles coach. Amidst all these things and the fact that he has gone back to Germany, we're hoping to get to you to talk on that, but now we have you in the studio. What's your opinion on that a dark moment in the NFF history, has not been able to get a coach, and they went ahead to announce where there was no further commitment according to reports?
I think there is, for me, from what I have seen, there is a kind of misunderstanding among the officials, okay, or the administrators, because we are all surprised at a time, you know, we are all surprised at a time when he was announced, and the man himself also looked surprised that he had been announced, and then all of a sudden we are also hearing about Eguavoen coming in. So more like there is issue in the house. You know, maybe they must have discussed about this, then somebody ate out or something. But at the same time, the German coach, for me, looking at his, is not really the kind of person we need.
Okay.
To be sincere, that's not the kind of person we need. Looking at his profile.
He has never coached a national team
exactly.
before.
So that's not the kind of person we need. So him turning down the offer, giving some excuse, it's okay for us. So we move on.
Now, talking about moving on, we'll go to our next topic. Away from AFCONs, we look into our next topic, and it has been trending. That's talking about Osimhen transfer saga. The internet is just so much about Saudi Arabia. Under all this, we found a home for him in Turkey. So, should he have done that? Do you think Napoli, because we know in the past there's been so much about the Napoli's president and black players, because at a certain time, I'm not saying that's the reason, but I know that at a certain time he said black players will not go for the Nations Cup. There were issues then. Osimhen missed the Nations Cup and all this issue. So tell us, what can you say about the back and forth regarding to the African Player of the Year, our own top 9, Victor Osimhen?
Yeah, I'm happy for Osimhen that finally he was able to get a club after the whole saga, you know. It has not been easy for him, especially psychologically. It has really eaten deep on him. And I can tell you, he's at the end of the day, the contract.
All talking about the transfer as regards to Osimhen's transfer saga. And let's not forget that it's something we need to know so that we get the best out of this situation. So tell us, what do you think? That transfer clause, he said it's going to be in January. It's going to be still in January, and the contract is still open. So tell us much about that.
Yeah, it favors him. The contract favors him because by January, at least, he still have option to move anywhere. The only clause, somehow, a lot of people have been arguing over this regarding the 1 year thing that is involved and the rest of them. So, but whatever that happens is still for the success of Osimhen, and I'm happy that the new club, the Gala, they are also happy with him. So we are hoping to see a lot of goals coming from him. Turkey is a good place, you know, where they have good fans, and I know that he's surely going to, you know, repeat the same thing that happened in Italy. You know, same will still happen in Turkey. So, you know, Turkey.
Was that the best option for Osimhen? Was that the best option to go to Turkey, Galatasaray?
Yeah, it may not. Looking at his stature, the kind of player he is, it may not be the best. But looking at the condition that surround him within this period, so I think that is the only option that is available that makes sense a lot. So again, when you look, a lot of people are saying about maybe possibly leaving the Turkey or leaving Chelsea for Saudi Arabia. He also have his, he must have looked at it critically, you know, with other of his team, you know, to see the best option for him. And I'm happy that he made it right with the new club in Turkey. And you can see everybody's happy to welcome him. And he is also happy as well.
Yeah, let's don't just take let me come to you, Joe. You're a player. You've done so well for though that you have your mother is Equatorial Guinea, your dad is a Nigerian, but you're Spanish, a Nigerian Spanish player. You've done so well for the under-18 Atletico Madrid team and all that. Let me just put you on the limelight, because I know you want your career to be as successful as that of Osimhen. You know, he has got it. What will you have done as a footballer that you are now in that situation? Because I learned that he has sacked his agent. I don't know how true that is. But what will you have done if you're Victor Osimhen?
Me, I am thinking that if you love football, you need to try and work hard on your football. You know? So Osimhen have difficult situation in Napoli, and in the last minute, the last transfer in Turkey, he went to Galatasaray. I think for me it's a good decision. You need to play, you need to be happy, you need to stay in one side that you know people like you and you are playing good football.
So instead of him just, because you know the coach in Italy, in Napoli, Conte, said it's not part of his plan. It's not part of his plan. So instead of him just staying surplus without playing, and you think it's a good decision, you went to Galatasaray?
Yes.
Okay, you have done that if you're in that situation? Yes. Okay, fine.
Because if I have other option before, if I try to say or I have other teams, it's normal. I will try to go with other team. But this last minute, that option, Galatasaray is not even bad team. It's a good team.
Yeah.
So.
But also information was that the salary that Chelsea intend to give to him was below. Chelsea and Napoli have agreed. It was the personal agreement between Chelsea and Osimhen, according to reports, did not go through because of salary. Will you have accepted that salary? Because you also know some people are comparing that unwanted Raheem Sterling, you understand, went to Arsenal, and Chelsea agreed to be paying his salary, which is almost 200 and something thousand, 200 per week. And Osimhen, top 9, the best African player, who want to receive 100 and something per week. Will you have gone to Chelsea for a lower salary? And you know you're worth one of the best players in Africa?
I think no. Because I know that if I want to go to one team, I will try to go. But with my condition, and with condition that he will make me fine and the team fine. No one condition like the team he will come fine and me I am not coming fine. Understand? Even I play football because I love football,
Okay.
But football is work.
Before it's work, yeah, that's true.
So
before we go on this quick break, let me ask you. We're still going to come back to you, but let me go straight to you. The best decision for Osimhen, you think so?
Yeah, because of the tight corner where he is, he has no other option that is better than this option. So he needed to take advantage of that, and that is exactly what he did. What I like there is at least by January he should be free. Then if he's still playing, scoring his goals, some of these clubs, hopefully Chelsea, will come bigger for him. Okay.
And there's still reports that Chelsea is still keen, looking at the transfer window in January.
So he has the opportunity now to showcase himself well in the new club in Turkey. Giving his best, make sure he scores enough goals, and then remain fit. Not only that, score for us in the Nations Cup. That would also, in our qualifying
in New York
matches.
Saturday.
Saturday. So let's do it. And Chelsea will still come back for him. Not just coming back for him, they will come back big.
Why Chelsea? I mean, why Chelsea?
Yeah, not only Chelsea.
We support Chelsea. Why Chelsea? Why Chelsea? Because why don't you say PSG will come back for him?
No, why I said Chelsea, because Chelsea have been on board, for him.
I don't think they are the Champions League. Why Chelsea?
Chelsea is playing Conference League.
Conference League, not the top league expected for a caliber of player like Osimhen. Why? Only that team can come for him.
But of course. But at least Chelsea. Why we are mentioning Chelsea is because they've been the one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you can you imagine him in Arsenal? If Arsenal comes with the big money,
of course he will go.
Okay. Yes. It's been an interesting moment on the show. We've been looking at the qualifiers right now, talking about the AFCON qualifiers, and also not forgetting the fact that we're talking about Osimhen transfer saga. So much to talk about with my wonderful guests in the studio. So let's also know that right now the Under-20 World Cup is going on in Colombia. Under-20 World Cup. We started so well in the first game. We defeated South Korea. Yeah, I think we defeated South Korea in the first leg, and unfortunately our second leg yesterday didn't go well with us. We lost to Germany, and the German side has always gotten a better part of us when it comes to the Under-20 World Cup. Just the same way we've gotten a better part of the South Korean side at the Under-20 World Cup. So for those asking, this is your moment to see the highlights of the Under-20 Women's World Cup between Germany and Nigeria. Don't go away.
Hello everyone, good afternoon.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the Babin, I pay my rent. From the Babin, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I love to dance. My dream is to be impactful to humanity, and dance is connecting me to that dream. So I don't see dancing as just movement of the body. I see dancing as an amazingly powerful tool. Dance is the oldest form of communication. Before we are able to speak, we move first. Dance can speak to us, dance can nurture us, dance can empower us, dance can make us fit and healthy, dance can make us happy, dance can reduce stress level, depression rates, dance can stop you from even committing suicide, because it's an art form of expression. And when you get to express, you are able to live. When I look at dance, it's just a cloak I can wear to connect to humanity, to be a better person. Like some people ask me, so if you know the dance, what you want to do? I go do dance again. And I come from the family that only celebrates children because mommy is lawyer. We are like stifled in that pressure of what our family dictates that success is. And for me, you don't do that to a cafe. Don't say I can't be great as a shoemaker. I will prove to you that shoemaker, and in fact, let me go make shoe for Queen of England. I read book well. I love book well. And I dey pass. So it's not a second class option for me. So being great at it doesn't mean I'm the best at it, but I'll do the best with what I have, with what I know. So there has been a lot of trial and error, but there was more of trials that worked than errors that didn't. And most of my errors were things that I used to kind of like educate myself on what not to do next. I dance and people are happy because I dance with you and you are happy. So if you don't understand that it's a product, it's different. If you don't understand that it can be a service, it's different. It's up to me to make you understand that this thing you need it to. Money should never be your motivation because it hinders aspiration. It does. I see money as something that I can control. I want you, I get you. Who you are can make you make you be anybody that you want to be. Every individual determines their own ceiling. Now, I hate it when some people use me as their ceiling. I want to be better than Kafi. That's why you are not getting to where Kafi is. If I can dance better than her, I am better than her. Our African system doesn't like to learn from one another. We feel learning from each other belittles us. If I go somewhere now to go and learn from a younger dancer, the way he will carry it for head, the way he will talk about me in a very dishonorable manner, is what to make somebody that knows so much not want to go and learn from a younger person. I always want to impact. I don't like to see the bad in people. I always want to see the good in you. And the good in you, for me, translates at what God put in you. That is not you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Emmanuel Oluboboko on this Easy News Update. The Nigeria Labour Congress President George Ario has been arrested by the Department of State for Security and in Abuja, DSS, allegedly for terrorism financing, as Ajaero was on his way to the United Kingdom for an official assignment and was slated to attend the Trade Union Congress conference in London. The arrest came a week after he accepted an invitation from the police, which was initially issued over allegations of criminal conspiracy, terrorism financing, treason, felony, subversion, and cybercrime. The NLC leadership warned of a nationwide strike if Ajaero's arrest was confirmed. Now, Ibrahim Shuaibu, a Nigerian businessman, has now been arraigned by the Kaduna Zonal Directorate of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for fraud. Shuaibu is facing 7 charges, including criminal breach of trust, impersonation and obtaining by false pretense, amounting to 100 million naira. The charges include conspiring to obtain money under false pretense in 2017, violating Section 8A of the Advanced Fee Fraud and Other Fraud-Related Offences Act 2006, and obtaining a sum of 47.05 million naira from Faisal Sofiyanu with intent to defraud, claiming to supply petroleum products. Shuaibu pleaded not guilty to all charges, prompting a prosecution counsel to urge a trial date. His counsel, Abdulkarim Audu, failed to file a bail application. Also, the Nigerian oil marketers may begin importing premium motor spirit after the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited announced it would only fully offtake the product from the Dangote Petroleum Refinery if market prices were higher than the premium pump prices in Nigeria, which the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, is considering analyzing the price of Dangote petrol and considering buying from Dangote versus importation. Industry observers argue that the government is not ready to stop fuel importation, but the recent hike in petrol pump prices suggests a shift in subsidies. Moving on, the National Session of Nigerian Students, NANS, is preparing to meet with President Bola Tinubu to demand a reversal of the recent increase in petrol prices. The student body is in discussions with key stakeholders in the petroleum industry to find a solution. The NANS insist on a nationwide protest against the increase scheduled for September the 15th, 2024. The group has also called for the removal of the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari. NANS President Henry Okomo believes the union can hold the government accountable due to the current hardship situation. Also, Nigerian social cultural organizations are calling on the government to reverse the recent increased premium motor spirits pump prices, citing market forces as the cause. The hike has led to inflation, increased transportation fares, and impacted essential commodities, particularly food items. Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has blamed the hike on market forces, while Afenifere warns that failure to reverse fuel price hikes could negatively impact Tinubu's policies. The Arewa Youth Consultative Forum also calls for proper communication between the presidency and Nigerians, and for the federal government to inform the public about its activities. Bank for Poverty Alleviation and Empowerment to over 1,000 commercial Okada riders in Kaduna State as fuel prices continue to rise. The initiative is part of the NGO's social responsibility to alleviate poverty and strengthen empowerment, and the chairman urges the government to prioritize addressing the needs of vulnerable citizens to alleviate frustration and agitation.
Hunger is killing people more than what we experienced in the past government. So we want the government to do better. If we as an organization can put this together and we can put small people feel they are smiling, we have the resources as a nation. It is there. So it's just that it is willpower and the ability to manage and make the people happy who put them in the office. I believe that is what this thing is all about. So it's a challenge for the government. They should sit up and do the needful. We don't want to hear excuses. We don't want to hear complaint. They said they can fix it. Let them fix the problem of Nigeria and let Nigeria smile and be happy because we have the resources.
Our beneficiaries are grateful for the intervention, which has come at a crucial time as they struggle with economic hardships, stating that fuel palliatives as a significant relief.
I'm feeling happy. It was this morning that my sister called me that they sent text to people that they should come here and there will be fuel given to them. I don't know which of the organization. It was when I came here now that I saw the name in their T-shirt. I'm very happy. I'm happy because of what I get now. It can serve me for almost 2 days in all my going. And what I'll get there, I'll get something like maybe 5,000 to 6,000 naira. So I'm very happy.
Wahala was too much because I was crying every day. Even my intention to go to farm tomorrow, I did not know because I have no money. But getting this foil, I'll be able to go and do a little work this evening or tomorrow. Then I'll be able to go to farm to go and do it.
I feel really bad as a Nigerian. How can I per liter? It's unfortunate. Black market is 1,500. It's unfortunate. So we are praying for a better Nigeria. This creative think talk, I'm very grateful for them. May God open more doors for them. This 4 liter will go a long way for me. This for the upper, I'm very, very grateful. May God continue to bless them.
The organization is implementing a poverty alleviation initiative across 23 local government areas in Kaduna State, providing hope to commercial drivers struggling with fuel price hikes. Now, journalists and media organizations covering the Ondo State governorship election. The portal will open on September the 9th, 2024, as the portal will forced 2024. National Voter Education Committee, Sama Olumeku, had urged interested media organizations to apply well before the deadline, warning that late submissions will not be entertained.